6 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, how are you? It show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. You've probably heard of them. Better water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to the show anywhere on all the apps, the FM dial. You can watch the show as well. Super Talk TV is up and running. Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Rumble, YouTube. The latter are the big ones. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. We appreciate you joining us however you're joining us. We got a lot to talk about today. Donald Trump was just on Squawk Box, which is probably the worst name for a TV show in the history of TV shows. But we'll bring you those comments momentarily. We're going to talk about Iran. We're going to get a little bit local, and we're going to talk about that dog story in Portland. In fact, the reason I was a bit delayed and a little flustered, I'm texting with Matt Murphy, and this story is just bananas, man, and it's heartbreaking on so many levels. So we'll get into that a little bit later in the show. We'll also talk about some immigration efforts, and we'll talk about the Commonwealth of Virginia today. Do you have a friend that lives in the Commonwealth of Virginia? They should get out and vote today. You should make a phone call. I have quite a few friends in Virginia. I'll be sending text messages. I'll be sending calls reminding them to vote. Today, their big vote on the new map. They're redistricting. A lot of people get upset about the redistricting. I'm not going to get upset over the redistricting, but I hope it fails. I don't want to see a 9-1 advantage for Democrats when it is currently, 10-1 when it's currently 6-5 Democrats. They're going to redistrict the whole state so that way there's no representation for Republicans, which, I mean, it is a little bit of bovine scatology, but I said a long time ago, and I'll say it again, I'm not going to get mad when Texas does it. I think it's a good thing. And because I think Texas doing it is a good thing, I wasn't going to get mad when California was doing it. And because I didn't get mad when California did it, I'm not going to be upset when Florida does it. And because I didn't get upset when Florida does it, I'm not going to be upset when Virginia does it, and so on and so on. But I do think that it's important to let your friends know in Virginia, get out there and vote against it today, because it is up for a vote, and I pray and I hope that it fails. There are chances that this goes to the Supreme Court anyway. We'll talk about all this on the way. I'm not sure if it goes through. It does feel like they're disenfranchising a ton of voters, but we'll talk about all that and more. For starters, I do want to jump into this interview with Donald Trump on the Morning Squawk, the Squawk Box, whatever it is. What a terrible name for a TV show. So he's on Squawk Box this morning. It's on CNBC. I do like the guys on this show, to be perfectly honest with you. But Donald Trump gets on, and the topic of conversation, of course, you guessed it, it is the ongoing negotiations, the ceasefire that is running out of time very quickly with Iran. J.D. Vance should be heading to Islamabad, Pakistan at any moment. We'll be keeping our eyes open for comments from J.D. before he gets on Air Force Two, and we'll keep you updated on all that. But this morning, Donald Trump on it's Squawk Box, right? I think it's Squawk Box, or it's Morning Squawk. I don't know. The more I say squawk, the more awkward it becomes. It's a little squawkward, if you ask me.
In negotiations right now, but the deadline for the ceasefire is tomorrow. If it looks like things are progressing, will you not necessarily extend it to a definitive amount of time, but will you let it keep going if there's progress in the talks before taking?
Well, I don't want to do that. We don't have that much time, because by the time both parties get there, as you know, they just got the okay to go forward, which I knew they were going to do anyway. I mean, I don't think they had a choice. They have to negotiate. And, the one thing I'll say is this: Iran can get themselves on a very good footing if they make a deal. They can make themselves into a strong nation again, a wonderful nation again. They have incredible people. But they seem to be, bloodthirsty. They're led by some very, very, unfortunately, tough people. And I don't mean tough in a good way. I think it's very negative for the country, because we're much tougher than they are, like not even close.
So that's the president this morning talking about the leadership in Iran and how there is a difference between the leadership and the people. I pray that we get a peaceful resolution here in Iran soon. Vance should be departing this morning. There's been talks that maybe the Iranians wouldn't even show up. It looks like they are going to show up. Again, we'll be keeping you updated on all of this as information becomes available. Donald Trump went on to reveal during Morning Squawk that they have fully reloaded on the U.S. side. We've talked about this a little bit. While the ceasefire was taking place or being going on, the Iranians are digging out, and the Americans were reloading. We outlined numerous times the ceasefire helps the United States far more than it helps the Iranians, and Donald Trump seemed to confirm that this morning.
They're trying to move the missiles because we've obliterated most of their missiles, and they're trying to move their missiles around, even during the ceasefire, which I think was a good thing because we're totally loaded up. We have so much ammo. We have so much of everything that we've, much more powerful than it was 4 or 5 weeks ago. So we've used this to restock, and they probably have done a little bit of restocking. We caught a ship yesterday that had some things on it which wasn't very nice, a gift from China perhaps, I don't know. But I was a little surprised, but because I have a very good relationship, and I thought I had an understanding with President Xi, but that's all right. That's the way war goes, right? But I will tell you that our military is incredible, what we've done. I mean, think of it. In the first 3 days, we took out their entire Navy, 159 ships. 159 ships, and wiped out their Air Force, wiped out their anti-aircraft, all of their anti-aircraft apparatus is all gone. All of their radar is gone. Their leaders are gone. Their leaders are gone. The whole thing is gone. And frankly, this should have been done a long time ago. It would have been a lot easier because they were a lot less lethal a long time ago.
So to be clear, you're saying that you need at least the prospects for a signed deal today and tomorrow, or else you would resume bombing Iran.
Well, I expect to be bombing because I think that's a better attitude to go in with. But we're ready to go. I mean, the military is raring to go. They are absolutely incredible. I built the military in my first term. I'm using it now. The military, when I took it over from Barack Hussein Obama, it was so depleted, so sad. And I built it in my first term. You remember those big numbers. You talked to me about it once. That's a lot of money for military. I built it. We did a great job with our military, and we're using it now and rebuilding it, too. We've done a lot of rebuilding also in my first year.
So that's the president saying, I'm going into the negotiations thinking that I'm going to be bombing in a couple days. And that's kind of the attitude that you want to have. He also talked about rebuilding the military. He dropped Hussein once again, which is hilarious. He never says Barack Obama. It's always Barack Hussein Obama. He also went on to say that the Iranian regime is lying. They have been caught lying, that they don't control the strait. America controls the strait currently. And I think that we have seen that on display with the amount of ships that have been turned around and the ships that have been boarded. He was asked about the ship that was boarded yesterday. We'll get to that momentarily. Hang on. This is President Trump on the strait.
Been killing a lot of soldiers, a lot of our soldiers, and a lot of other people. They've killed 42,000 people over the last 2 months. And, you get to a point where people don't want to mention that. They don't like mentioning that. 42,000 unarmed protesters, innocent unarmed protesters, many of them hung. So we're not dealing with the nicest group of people, but we're dealing with them very successfully, and the blockade has been a tremendous success. They said 2 days ago, we will open the strait. I said, no, we're not going to open the strait until we have a final deal. No, we want to open the strait. They said, we're not opening. We totally control the strait, just so you understand, for all the fake news out there.
Yeah, we did, and we boarded an Iranian vessel yesterday, the Tusca, and we're getting more information about the Tusca. I don't know if you've been paying attention at home, but it doesn't look good, actually. It actually looks like China is way involved in this battle, and there are reports that the Tusca was deemed dual use by the United States. Reuters has this. The Iranian-flagged container ship, the Tusca, which was boarded and seized by U.S. forces on Sunday, is likely to have what Washington deems dual-use items that could be used by the military on board, maritime security sources said on Monday. The small container ship, which is part of the Islamic Republic of Iran shipping lines group that has been hit with U.S. sanctions, was boarded off the coast of Iran's Chabahar port in the Gulf of Oman, and the last reported position at 13:08 GMT, according to a ship tracking data on the maritime traffic platform. It goes on to say that inside the ship was some things that could be used to make ballistic missiles. And they say Iran's military said the ship had been traveling from China, maybe you've heard of it, and accused the U.S. of armed piracy, according to state media on Monday. They said they were ready to confront the U.S. forces over the blatant aggression, but were constrained by the presence of the crew members' families on board. But they say that inside the ship was dual-use materials, which could be used for ballistic missiles. And Jesse Waters talked about this last night. Is Iran getting the items to make more missiles from China? It looks like that might be the case.
Missile destroyer, the USS Bronze, blew a hole in her engine room, stopped her cold. Marines choppered in, rappelled onto the deck, and took her over. The president says we have full custody and are seeing what's on board. It's an Iranian cargo ship called the Tusca, almost 1,000 feet long and weighs as much as an aircraft carrier. And it's been under U.S. and European sanctions. It was up to no good. The Tusca was traveling from China. The Washington Post says it was loaded with dual-use chemicals used to manufacture ballistic missiles. Beijing just got caught doing us dirty. And Trump will make them pay.
We'll see what happens. I mean, that's a wild story. It is important to point out dual use. It could go the other way. I don't think it would go the other way, but for the just the point of clarity, that could just be fertilizer. I don't think it is. I would imagine that that's exactly what Jesse Waters says. It is items to create ballistic missiles. President Trump was asked about that ship, and he reveals that he caught China giving Iran a gift. This was earlier this morning, about an hour ago on the Squawk Box, the morning Squawk. And Donald Trump says, yeah, we caught them, and it's not a good look. Not a good look at all.
It will also hurt them. It'll hurt them militarily. They use the bridges for their weapons, for their missile movements. They're trying to move the missiles because we've obliterated most of their missiles, and they're trying to move their missiles around, even during the ceasefire, which I think was a good thing because we're totally loaded up. We have so much ammo. We have so much of everything that we've, much more powerful than it was 4 or 5 weeks ago. So we've used this to restock, and they probably have done a little bit of restocking. We caught a ship yesterday that had some things on it which wasn't very nice, a gift from China perhaps, I don't know. But I was a little surprised, because I have a very good relationship, and I thought I had an understanding with President Xi, but that's all right. That's the way war goes, right? But I will tell you that our military is incredible, what we've done. I mean, think of it. In the first 3 days, we took out their entire Navy.
He says, I was a little surprised. I don't know why we would be surprised, to be perfectly honest with you. And I doubt that the president was too shocked by this. I think that might just be public posturing. But what we've seen with the Ukraine conflict is we're essentially fighting a proxy war with Russia. And I would imagine that with the Iranian conflict, we're going to see the exact same thing in reverse, Russia and China helping out Iran to tire out the United States forces. This doesn't surprise me. It shouldn't surprise you either. Where it goes from here is anybody's guess. The president, though, he's well aware and not too happy. So we'll keep you updated on any developments that come with that. We do have a meeting. He has a meeting with Xi, next month? Is that what it is? Next month? Xi Jinping and President Trump will be meeting. I'm sure this is going to be a topic of discussion. On the way, we'll bring you more of the comments from the president this morning on Morning Squawk. We'll talk about some of the new weapons that are being deployed in Iran. And we'll talk about why I think this is going to go on a little bit longer. There was a big deal made yesterday when it comes down to a National Defense Production Act that was just invoked, and it's going to surge federal resources to the production of petroleum, liquefied natural gas, coal, and power grid infrastructure. We'll talk about that and more on the way. It's 9:20. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Better Water LLC. If you're tired of weird smells, stains, or just plain old bad tasting water at the house or office, these are the folks that you need to call. Think of it like a giant Brita filter for your entire house, nestled nicely in your garage. Or you can scale it down and get a system that fits right under your sink and focuses on that faucet. Or you can get a system for your entire business. And these guys handle everything. You could have some nasty stuff in your water. Here's the best part. Better Water will test your water for free. And if they find sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, or even E. coli, they offer a range of options to clean it up quick. From reverse osmosis to specialized filters to UV lights, Better Water has you covered. And these guys are pros. They've been doing it for a while. In fact, they're locally based in Smyrna, Tennessee, and they're treating all the coffee shops and the hospitals around town. You may have already tasted their work and you thought to yourself, wow, this is great water. You should get the water at your house. Call Better Water today. Have them test your water for free. And if you need a water filtration system, these are the guys to trust. 615-355-6063. That's 615-355-6063. Or you can find them online, betterwater.com.
Up ahead, the U.S. boards yet another Iranian ship, and why some are calling today's redistricting vote in Virginia blatantly partisan. It's all coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
What's blatantly partisan about wanting to remove all the Republican representation, Joan?
Wait till you hear. Have you heard how the ballot is phrased?
No.
Oh, this is good.
Can you give me a little spoiler?
Let's see. How do I... restore fairness. Those are two words that are found on the ballot.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Well, I mean, they say the quiet part out loud.
They do.
It's insane. Did you hear Tim Kaine yesterday?
Yeah.
Tim Kaine, he's on Fox News, and we'll get back to the Donald Trump stuff in a second, but I'm getting squirreled by Joan. So Tim Kaine is on Fox News talking about the Virginia redistricting vote. And Shannon Bream is like, well, you know that 90% of Virginians are not Democrats. And he's like, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Listen, let's talk about the last vote there in Virginia, the presidential vote. Vice President Kamala Harris won by about 5 percentage points. So this state is relatively split with a left lean, but 90% of House members from Virginia being from one party?
90% of Virginians are not Democrats. That's true.
Correct.
But about 100% of Virginians want election results to be respected. We're deeply worried that Donald Trump will try to interfere with the election results this November.
So we're going to interfere first.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
what he's saying? Yeah, it's the most fair thing to do, actually. Virginians are going to be surging to the polls today. We'll keep you updated on that story. We'll talk about it a little bit more on the way. Before we get back to the Iran stuff, Donald Trump had a message for companies that want a tariff refund this morning on the Squawk Box.
President, on that topic, there's a whole number of very large companies, including Apple and Amazon and others, that have not sought reimbursements yet for the tariffs, meaning they haven't tried to collect refunds. And from what I understand, part of the reason that they have waited is because there is a worry about, frankly, offending you. Would you find it offensive for them to try to collect a refund?
I think it's brilliant if they don't do that. I actually think if they don't do that, they got to know me very well. I'm very honored by what you just said. If they don't do that, I'll remember them. I will tell you that, because I'm looking to make this country strong. Supreme Court could have helped us. Now they have birthright citizenship. They'll probably rule against us. No country in the world has it.
Right.
It's horrible for our country. And I just see it, I see some of these Republicans that are nominated by me asking real bad questions, and looks like maybe we're going to lose that one too.
Yeah, it does look like we're going to lose the birthright citizenship one, which is just absolutely insane on every level. But to the companies, I love it. It's actually very patriotic if you don't ask for your refund. I don't expect them to continue not asking. Maybe they won't. I just know personally, if it was me and my money, as much as I love the country, I would still want the refund. Would you not? I feel like everybody in the listening audience would want that refund. I would. We'll talk a little bit more about the comments on President Trump and Iran, from President Trump and Iran. We'll also take some of your phone calls. Cran in Silver Point and Mark in Clarksville want to talk about redistricting. We'll take, guys, Cran and Mark, hang on the line. We'll take your calls when we get back on the Virginia topic, and we'll just we'll keep bouncing around here on the Chris Hand Show. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's 9:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And we have breaking news. NATO has intercepted Russian strategic bombers and fighter jets that flew over the Baltic Sea. ABC News calls this a muscular display of air power. Now, this is not the first time NATO jets intercepted Russian warplanes in January and on at least 4 occasions last year. Happening overnight, U.S. forces boarding another vessel. This one had been accused of smuggling Iranian crude oil across Asia. The Pentagon said that the boarding of the Tiffany without incident occurred as the U.S. is expanding its naval operations aimed at restricting Iran's ability to export oil. The Tennessee Senate has passed legislation that would change the way pharmacies can operate. Fox 17 says this could affect CVS pharmacies.
Now, the law would no longer allow drugstores to negotiate prices with insurance providers or government programs directly. A third party would be required to step in.
That bill now goes to the House for debate and a vote. And Virginia voters are going to the polls. They'll decide today whether to let the state legislature redraw the congressional maps to literally carve Republicans almost completely out. Avery Harper is ABC News political director.
Virginia is a pretty purple place to be. But I do think it's just really important to remind folks that what we're seeing here is not normal. It is highly unusual. States typically only redraw their congressional districts every 10 years after the census, right, or in response to some sort of court order. And so what we're seeing here is a purely partisan effort.
Yeah, even the ballot question was allowed to be partisan. It includes a phrase that says, voting yes will allow lawmakers to adopt new districts to restore fairness. It also promises whatever is decided today is temporary. That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Dr. Mitchell over at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. You know you can get back to a pain-free life right now today. 47% off non-surgical spinal decompression. If you're dealing with neck pain, back pain, sciatica, herniated or bulging discs, this is the special for you. They can also help you with your knee pain, the numbness in your arms or legs. You need to know about the Wellness Institute of Nashville. They have the most advanced tech in the entire industry. In fact, they're the first and only office in Tennessee with a brand new device called the HydroWave, which is going to stimulate your stem cells for real cellular healing. And they do all of this without pushing surgery, without pushing needles, without pushing painful injections or opioids. These guys are the best. You pair the tech with the non-surgical spinal and knee decompression. It's about as advanced as it gets. From there, they're going to use anti-gravity machines, robotic lasers, and they'll actually take the time to review your MRI and explain exactly what's happening and how to fix it. That's the key part that Dr. Mitchell is focused on. How do we fix it? Well, it starts with a phone call. You can get back to a pain-free life today. 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or you can find them online at painisbad.com. That's painisbad.com. 37 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. During the commercial break, I just learned it's Earth Day tomorrow. April 22nd is Earth Day. And I was instantly reminded how Captain Planet was just propaganda. So that's just a little side note. If you got a rabbit hole that you want to go down later, Captain Planet, total propaganda. Everybody knows it.
Have you seen that clip of Don Cheadle playing Captain Planet where he blows up all the kids and
Yes. Captain Planet's garbage.
Garbo.
I actually watched it as a kid.
Shame.
Luckily, the programming didn't work on me. And I won't make the same mistake my parents did.
So funny.
My son said, what does Captain Planet do? I said, he sends our trash to China and they burn it. It's true. People need to know. People need to know. 615-737-9986 is the number to join the show. You're welcome to join the show any way you would like. The text line's open. The phone line's open. The YouTube chat is there for you as well. Got a couple people that want to talk about the redistricting in Virginia. Let's start with our friend Cran in Silver Point. Hey, Cran, how are you? Cran, you got to put up the phone. Thank you.
Gentlemen.
Hey, how are you doing, Cran? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sorry about that.
Yes, I work with a slightly older gentleman, and last night I asked him a fishing question, and after he'd gone on at length about that, he just brought up that he used to live in Virginia until 1989.
Okay.
And they just sent him a request for him to vote in this election. He lives in Middle Tennessee. He has lived in Middle Tennessee since 1989.
And
they're like, hey, you need to come vote in this election. This is really important.
How did they send the request? Was it digital? Was it via mail?
It was mail, paper mail.
They mailed it?
He said the phone number that they had for him was not ever an area code he'd even lived in.
What?
Yeah.
How old is this gentleman?
I would guess at least 60.
That is bananas. So they reached out to him and they said, can you please vote in this election?
Yes. He lives in Middle Tennessee.
Insanity. That wouldn't shock me. I mean, they've spent over $100 million on this campaign, so at least we know where some of that money's going. They're going after former Virginians.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm surprised, and I appreciate the call, Cran. I'm surprised my wife hasn't received a request to vote, or that I haven't received a request to vote, if that's the case. Because, what? We lived in Virginia at one point. In fact, I thought for a while that I would be able to retire in Virginia. That was kind of like one of our thought processes as we were like moving around. We wanted to get back to the South, and we were like, well, we'll retire in Virginia someday. It's like those dreams have long since sailed. There's absolutely no way. I'll go visit. I think it's a beautiful state. I think that the Democrats have absolutely ruined it. And what they want to do is they want to take Northern Virginia and they want to spread it around and make all of Virginia Northern Virginia. Early votes have been cast. Final arguments have been made. Virginia voters will head to the polls today for the final day of redistricting votes after a long, extensive campaign that leaned on considerations of realism and idealism, reports VPM.org. It's the NPR affiliate of Virginia. They say Democrats have pitched the special election as a referendum on President Donald Trump's attempts to gerrymander nationwide and his presidency as a whole, as many blue voters express unease with countering gerrymandering with gerrymandering. Republicans say it's a Democrat power grab and that rural voters will be disenfranchised, instead represented by a handful of Northern Virginia politicians, the rich men north of Richmond, while avoiding casting judgment on Trump's role in starting the redistricting trend. They said one voter said, I really think Democratic norms is what prevented redistricting in the past, and that the gloves are off these days. It's a crazy story, and a lot of people have been paying attention to it. This would give Republicans in the state 9% representation. That's it, 9%. And you would go from 5 red counties to 1. It would just be southwestern Virginia, the county that touches Tennessee. But this is how Fox News broke it down yesterday.
Various districts in Virginia. She and others want to redraw the lines so that Democrats could potentially get as many as 10 of the 11 districts in the state. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's outrageous. I mean, to go from 6-5 representation, 6 Democrats to 5 Republicans to 10-1, I mean, how is that fair? It's completely outrageous and does not seem to represent the people of Virginia in any fair way. I know this is something that's ultimately going to go to the Virginia Supreme Court because it seems to be unconstitutional. That's what Republicans claim. Voters will have their say on Tuesday. Right now, it looks like the polls are split, but Democrats who have control of Virginia right now have spent so much money on this proposition. So we'll have to see what happens. But I mean, to me, it seems completely unfair.
Yeah, I mean, it is 6-5. It's a purple state, leans blue. They want to make it 10-1. Yes, this would disenfranchise voters. Yes, everybody understands that 90% of the voters in Virginia are not Democrats. Even Senator Tim Kaine understands that. Hakeem Jeffries is urging Democrats to vote yes.
And we're urging everyone to vote yes to stop the MAGA power grab. And the voters of Virginia have an opportunity to ensure that there's a fair national congressional map, because we believe that it's the voters of Virginia and the people of this country who should decide which party is in the majority in the aftermath of the midterm elections. Not Donald Trump and his extreme MAGA sycophants in state legislative bodies across the country who were ordered by Donald Trump to gerrymander the national congressional map as part of their effort to rig the midterm elections.
Ordered by Donald Trump, the orange man. They're just following orders. We can't let them get away with it. Okay, that's Timu Obama there. Orange man did this. Let's go to Mark in Clarksville. What's up, Mark? How are you?
I'm doing good. I enjoy your show. I don't understand why you're focusing so much on Virginia when you said you said good things about what they did in Texas, and they did the same exact thing in Texas.
Yeah, well, I did. I
off.
mean, but did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I said before? I said I didn't get upset about Texas. I didn't get upset about California. I didn't get upset about Florida. But there's a vote today, and we're in a unique position here in Tennessee when we have so many transplants that we should let our listeners know about this. That way you can make phone calls to your friends in the state, the Commonwealth of Virginia, so that way they can vote against it. It's up for a vote. Why wouldn't you want this to not go through?
Now, I understand that, but I guess my point is what is the difference between what they did in Texas? Because that was a Republican push move to get more support for the House of Representatives. I mean, it's the same exact thing, just a different state.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I mean, I'm not upset, and I won't be upset if the Democrats win, because, like I said, it's all fair. Like, this is just politics. But we have an opportunity to remind voters to go out and vote against it. So why wouldn't we do that?
Well, if you supported what they did in Texas, why would you not support what they did for them to do the same thing in Virginia?
I mean, I feel like it's pretty simple because I don't want it to be 10-1 Democrats.
Well, but it's the same thing. They did basically the same thing in Texas. So you're okay with it being 9-11 or whatever? It's like an 80 or 90%.
I don't know what.
Republicans in Texas are not. They're like 55% of the state and Democrats, so they should have 1 or 2 more seats than the Republicans from that standpoint.
But I guess my confusion is like, what are you missing? Like, why would I want it? Like, I'm going to talk about it because I don't want Democrats to win, but I'm not going to be upset about it if they do, because it's all fair in politics. I don't know why. What's the confusion about?
I guess my point is I'm just looking at. I think they're both all mixed up. I think they should do it every 10 years right after the census. To be honest, it's changing in the middle of the road. That's just playing politics. Is all that is.
Yeah,
and I understand that that's the way it is. But for decades, they did it after. Every time they'd have the census, then they'd go in the state house. The state representatives would redistrict.
Are you conservative? Are you liberal? Where do you lean on the political spectrum, Mark? I don't really care.
I'm in the middle.
Okay.
I really don't believe in Democrats or Republicans right now. I think they're both just both sides are so hyper partisan that it's so difficult to get anything done.
Well,
my personal opinion.
I can objectively look at Democrats and say they're ruining the Commonwealth of Virginia, though.
hell, I can look at and say Republicans are like in Tennessee they're doing a lot of bad things in Tennessee by not taking care of our infrastructure.
Okay.
Our infrastructure has been neglected for the past 16 years. For under the conservative House and Senate, State House and State Senate, they have neglected our interstate system. Our infrastructure in the state has been totally neglected. They knew this growth was coming, and now they're way behind the ball, and they're going to have to start laying.
I mean, I think that's totally fair. I would just say the infrastructure is falling apart in Virginia too, but now you have a bunch of new taxes on top of it.
Well, I mean, I was just giving you an example of how you can go to both sides.
Yeah,
okay?
I get that. I just why wouldn't we want to let our listeners know to call their friends in the Commonwealth of Virginia to vote against this today?
Well, I just look at it as a bit of hypocrisy. Is all I'm saying.
Where's the hypocrisy?
You supported what they did in Texas.
Yeah, but I just said on the air, I'm not going to be upset if the Democrats win because it's all fair.
I understand that.
But it's up for a vote, so why wouldn't? So I shouldn't talk about it at all?
No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying, did you support what they did in Texas?
Yes.
Okay, and now you don't, just because you don't agree with the Democrats' politics in Virginia, you don't want them to have more influence, even though elections have consequences. Even though elections have consequences.
Yes, that's exactly. Well, how is that hypocritical? I don't like Democrats. I've never claimed to. I don't understand. I don't know how that's hypocritical.
I guess I'm just trying to figure out how to find us a middle ground somewhere, and I don't think that that's possible anymore.
No, I completely agree with you there, Mark. I don't think there's any middle ground coming. That being said, I don't think it's hypocritical to say call your friends and let them know what's happening in the state of Virginia, especially if you got hardworking friends that aren't paying attention to the news cycle every single day, and let them know what's going on. I don't know what the issue is there.
I see your point. I guess I'm just pointing out with Trump stepping in, and he supported what was going on in Texas, but he doesn't because this is going to hurt him. He's really trying to, he's stepping in. He's being hypocritical, is what he's being.
I don't even think I've heard Trump comment on the Virginia race.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh yeah, he has a bunch.
Okay. So he shouldn't say anything. He should just let the Democrats win and not remind people that there's a vote happening today.
No, I guess my point is I'm just looking at the total hypocrisy, and it's just exposing both sides are hypocritical. Okay, and I can't emphasize that enough.
I mean, I don't even think both sides are being hypocritical here. Both sides want more representation. Both sides want more House seats, and both sides are fighting to get it. Like, where's the hypocrisy?
Okay, I can't argue with that point.
You know what I mean?
That part I can't argue with at all. I'm just like, this was all basic. If Texas doesn't do what they do, none of these states are doing this. That's the thing. This all started from the Republican side trying to, and actually I don't think they had an election in Texas. I think the state house in Texas is the one that did the redistricting without having a statewide election, didn't they? I'm not sure about that.
I don't know. I'd have to look back. It's been a minute.
Yeah, I understand it has been a while, but I mean, my point is at least they're giving both sides a chance to vote on it in Virginia. Same thing like they did in California. Both sides got to vote for it there.
Yeah, well,
okay?
this is why I'm just saying if you got, we're in a unique position in Tennessee. We got a lot of transplants, and a lot of people have family in Virginia, myself included. Just remind them what's going on.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Hey, I appreciate the time, and I do enjoy your show.
Hey,
I don't always agree with you, but I appreciate the time.
I like that we don't agree. Call in any time. I don't want it to be an echo chamber, man. I appreciate you.
No, you're not. Talk to you later.
Thanks, man. Let's go to Paul in White House on the gerrymandering. What's up, Paul?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to point out that gerrymandering has been going on since our republic was formed.
Well, I mean,
I learned about.
You look at some of these Democrat states. Look at Illinois if you want to complain about gerrymandering.
Right. And so what a lot of people are getting misinformed about is somehow the Republicans started all this. I came from Michigan when it was a very blue state, and I still have friends and family up there. And I remember learning in civics class all about gerrymandering and how they controlled everything. It's to the victors go the spoils, and that's just how it's been since our republic's been formed. So to assume somehow that the Republicans came up with this in Texas is almost ludicrous. People don't know their history. And they got to figure this out for themselves. Everybody does. And so some people get really upset. They think the Republicans started this. And they didn't start nothing. It's been there forever.
Yeah, I hear you, man, and I appreciate the call. Let's go to Clark in Hohenwald. What's up, Clark? Is Clark there? Clark, you there? Or are you in a tunnel? Is Clark in a tunnel? Are there tunnels in Hohenwald? There may or may not be a tunnel. We'll put Clark back on hold. We'll take his call after the break. It's 9:52. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Coming up, it appears another Iranian vessel has been boarded by U.S. troops. And the Democrat who could be expelled from Congress today and what she spent her $5 million of FEMA funds on. That story's coming up at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. It's 9:58. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. We were talking about the redistricting in Virginia, so a caller's told me that I was being hypocritical, and I would wonder what would his response be to one Eric Holder, who over the weekend on CBS's Face the Nation said, it's fair when Democrats do it. It's restoring fairness, and it's cheating when Republicans do it.
Historically, the president's party doesn't usually do well in the midterm races. So why do Democrats need to do this? I mean, it sounds like it's acknowledging that the Democratic Party can't win on its own, that it has to go through these measures.
The Democrats can certainly win if it's a fair fight. And the question I have...
It wasn't going to be a fair fight in Virginia?
No, it wasn't going to be a fair fight nationally if you try to steal seats in Texas, in North Carolina, and in Missouri. And so the question I have for people who are critical of that which we're doing is, what were we supposed to do? Nothing? Just allow them to try to stack the deck, to try to steal seats? And all we're trying to do is meet them and try to make the system as fair as it possibly can be. And that's all that this is about.
Okay, so it's fair when Democrats do it. It's cheating when Republicans do it. Just a reminder, the special election's going on today in the state of Virginia, the Commonwealth. Let your friends, your family know if they want representation, they got to get out there and vote. Former Governor Glenn Youngkin.
2016, when Eric Holder, right when he got out of the Obama administration, started the Democrat Redistricting Commission. And then in 2022 and again in 2024, they pressed to pick up seats in New York. But with all that said, it's about Virginia. And Virginia in 2020 held a constitutional referendum, amended our Constitution to have nonpartisan, independent redistricting. 2/3 of Virginians said we want politics out, politicians out. And now we have Abigail Spanberger saying she's going to ignore the voice of Virginians, override them, and try to adopt the most gerrymandered map in America. Today we have what is assessed as the fairest map in America. I don't love it. It's 6 Democrats and 5 Republicans, but it's fair. And she wants to override it and turn it into the most gerrymandered map in America. It's wrong. Virginians should stand up and vote no tomorrow.
And I hope that they do. If you get a friend in the Commonwealth of Virginia, make that phone call, send that text, remind them to get out and vote. I'll be doing that with my friends and family. I hope you do the exact same. It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 10:01. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Another Iranian-flagged vessel, this one an oil tanker, has been boarded by U.S. forces. This happened overnight in the Indo-Pacific region. That's according to the Wall Street Journal. Now, Iran was already angered by a similar incident on Sunday.
Nearly 2 months into the war, the Strait of Hormuz remains a pressure point. Iran now vowing to retaliate after U.S. Marines seized an Iranian cargo ship, allegedly trying to bypass the U.S. blockade on Sunday. Central Command releasing video of Marines rappelling down onto the deck of the ship. The vessel and its Iranian crew taken into U.S. custody. Marines searching the shipping containers on board. The ship reportedly had stopped in China and was likely carrying equipment that could be used by the military.
That's ABC News foreign correspondent Marcus Moore. He's in Islamabad, Pakistan, where talks are set to get underway. 2 former employees with the city of Mount Juliet have been charged with operating a scheme to sell old cell phones for profit. River Johnson and Marshall Taylor both worked in the IT department before they were abruptly dismissed last year.
According to indictments for both Johnson and Taylor, they are accused of theft of property between $2,500 to $10,000 during June of 2022 and June of 2024. The indictments mention iPhones. Taylor was also accused of theft of money between $1,000 to $2,500.
That's Kendall Ashman at News 2. Now, both men have bonded out of jail. A Nashville man's behind bars for what he posted online. Channel 4's Marius Payton reports Jerry Dubose II is charged with posting child pornography on X.
According to the
arrest report. The images were taken inside of his Bellevue home. Police say some of the victims were infants. Metro Police's Internet Crimes Against Children unit said they found more than 40 files on Jerry Bobo's, the second online account.
He's charged with sexual exploitation of a minor. To Washington, where Kevin Warsh is testifying right now before a Senate committee. He's President Trump's pick to chair the Federal Reserve. He'll replace Jerome Powell. And over at the House of Representatives, the Ethics Committee decides today whether to expel Democrat Congresswoman Sheila Sherfilis McCormick. She was found guilty of stealing $5 million in FEMA funds. She spent that money, allegedly, on her campaign, a giant diamond ring, a Tesla, designer clothes, high-end hotels, and a cruise. She's also facing federal felony charges. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Six minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You're welcome to join the show any way you'd like. 615-737-9986. That's the number for the text line and the phone lines. I got a couple people holding on the line. Ryan in Murfreesboro. Off topic, but you got the floor, man. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, this is off topic a little bit. First off, I want to say, man, I love your show. Secondly, I really enjoyed you moderating the Rutherford County Sheriff mayoral debate here around a month or so ago. But I wanted to see if there was any chance we could get Trey Mansfield to call into the show.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to it. I'm open. Trey Mansfield's running for sheriff. So is Kenneth Barrett. I mean, I'm open to anybody that wants to call in. They're more than welcome to. I met Trey. You seemed like a nice guy. I met all the sheriff candidates. They all seem great. But yeah, anybody can call in if they want to. I don't have any issue with it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Cool.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate the call. Let's go to our friend Tony in Montreal, everyone's favorite Canadian. What's up, Tony?
Yes, thank you for that nice introduction, and hello to all your staff. You guys are great. I spoke to Ryan. I just want to say you guys are great to listen to in the morning. I get up early, listen to Dan Mandis and yourselves, and I got hooked onto your station when Dan Mandis went on American Night with McGraw Millhaven. So I like the conservative point of view, but I just want to say two quick things. I don't know. I spoke to your call screener, Ryan, and I said that California wants to pass a law that is an anti, I guess they want to call it an anti-Nick Shirley Act, which is the Republicans are calling it that because they say the Democrats that are controlling Bonda, who is a congressman, and her husband is the AG, want to pass this law because he's divulging all of the corruption, the criminality, and the scams. And it's kind of like the people can continue scamming the United States, the taxpayers, and your great country, but anyone that divulges that information, that person is considered a criminal. I mean, that's unbelievable. It's like you're penalizing the police for doing their job in discovering criminality. And I just want to say another quick thing about Mr. Trump and the Iranian war. I think he's using tremendous restraint. He's trying to bring them to their knees and trying to limit damage to that country, limit damage to civilians, and limit damage to the economy. And I think that people should give him the benefit of doubt. He has a lot of information, I believe, from Central Command or military command. And I think that he's trying to do this for the benefit of almost everybody. And I think patience is the virtue here.
Hey, I appreciate the call and I appreciate the perspective, Tony. Thank you so much for listening, man. You're right about the Stop Nick Shirley Act. It is being pushed by a state representative, Miss Bonta, who is the wife of the Attorney General of California, Rob Bonta. We talked about it a lot yesterday, but in case you missed it.
Yeah, so if this passes, the fraud's going to continue to get worse and worse. And if I were to go look into the fraud at one of these NGOs, let's say, that receives money for migrants, I could receive a $4,000 civil fine, a $10,000 criminal fine, or a $50,000 felony if this bill gets passed. And not only that, they'll also have the power to take down my videos. And they're basically trying to bankrupt journalists from looking into the fraud.
Yeah, they're trying to bankrupt you after you're having to fund your own private security. But the American people collectively say thank you, Nick Shirley.
Yeah, they're more mad about people exposing the fraud in California than the fraud in California. Not shocked at all. Mike in Dixon wants to talk about the redistricting efforts in Virginia. What's up, Mike? How are you?
Hey, good morning, Chris. Thanks for taking the call. No, I just want to say this. And I've said this before. I've lived in Virginia for almost 20. I did live in Virginia for almost 25 years.
What part?
I'm in Tennessee now, but I keep hearing what the Democrats are doing in Virginia is just absolutely wrong, and even the Democrats will admit that.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of Democrats have buyer's remorse over the moderate that they voted for, Abigail Spanberger, and the just overwhelming amount of new taxes that have been levied against them. I think that even like free Amazon packages aren't going to be free anymore because you're going to be taxed on those. It's absolutely insane. And now they want to bring Northern Virginia to the rest of the state. It's crazy.
They keep saying, I'm sorry, they keep saying Texas. Well, Texas followed the law, no constitutional ban. They followed the rules. Virginia broke every law in the book by doing this.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to go all the way to Virginia Supreme Court, and I'm not sure that it's gonna stand up to the scrutiny there.
In my opinion, Texas equaled everything back out. A lot of people don't want to hear that, but I believe they did. And Virginia was equaled out. It's a 5-6 split. They both, Democrats and Republicans, agreed to this 5-6 split. It was drawn up by neutral.
Nonpartisan, exactly.
Side. And they all agreed to that. Now the Democrats are going to come in there and run. No, that ain't right. I'm sorry. I can't go with that.
I feel you. And it's like, even though it was a fair split, and it still favored the Democrats. I mean, we're watching their elections have consequences, and yet I don't understand why people still vote Democrat in Virginia. I get Northern Virginia because of the bleed over from the intelligence agencies in D.C. and the swamp. But the rest of Virginia, it's absolutely mind-numbing how these people do this.
It is, and they keep saying, I really hope the people, the no vote wins out today. But to be honest with you, I don't think it. I think it's not going to go.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. I mean, Democrats have the energy right now. Republicans are they're splintered, they're divided, they're fed up. I wouldn't imagine the Republicans showing up in force to outweigh the early cast ballots.
Some of the Virginia Republican on the General Assembly, I made comments to them. They acted like this was no, it's no big deal. You know, I said, y'all, it's a big deal because y'all just conceded 4 years. You will never be back in power again if this passes.
Yeah. When where in Virginia did you live?
I lived in the Blacksburg area, Montgomery County.
Okay.
I lived up there for almost 25 years.
Okay, cool. I spent some time in Harrisonburg and some time in Richmond. I love Virginia. I think it's a beautiful state, and I appreciate the call, Mike. I think it's a beautiful state. It was really, really nice when we were there. This is, almost 20 years ago, which is really crazy to think about. But I mean, there's so much in Virginia. Like, you got the ocean, you got the mountains, you got you can go up a little bit, go to DC. They have a bit of everything. I don't know why anybody would continue voting for Democrats in the Commonwealth of Virginia, especially after Abigail Spanberger gets into office and does this.
We had a big election last year in Virginia. Abigail Spanberger and Virginia Democrats won big because they told voters that they would reduce the cost of living and improve affordability in the Commonwealth. But this legislative session, a lot of Virginia Democratic lawmakers have proposed over 50 new tax increases and proposals. I'll read some of them to you. They include additional local sales tax in all Virginia counties and cities, new personal property tax on electric leaf blowers and electric landscaping equipment, large employer tax, gun and ammunition tax, new income tax brackets, a delivery tax. This would hit you if you ordered things on Amazon, Uber Eats, UPS, FedEx, etc. Investment income tax, event tax, concert tax, storage facility tax, gym membership tax, dog walking tax, dog grooming tax, counseling tax. Got to catch my breath. Digital personal property tax, new car taxes and highway use fees, increase in the hotel tax here in Arlington, statewide speed cameras. Now, those aren't taxes, but drivers would pay more fines if that went through. A dry cleaning tax, concert tax, home repair tax, and a vehicle repair tax. Now, I did reach out to Spanberger's office and Don Scott's office. He's the speaker here in Virginia, as well as the leader in the Senate, asking them, how would all of this make life more affordable to you?
I mean, spoiler alert, it won't. Yet, for some reason, Democrat voters will continue voting for policies that work against them. I don't understand. It's bananas, but that's what you get with Democrats. Back on the Iran war front, Donald Trump sat down, gave an interview this morning with the Squawk Box over on CNBC, and he had this to say about Hakeem Jeffries, Timu Obama, and Chuck Schumer.
That you should have done it in 30 minutes. It took too long, So it's tough. But we can't let traitors. We can't let traitors like Schumer put pressure on you where they say we want out. Think how bad that is. I'm negotiating with these people, and they're telling us we have to get out now. We have to get out now. We have to get now. And they were in a war for 18 years. They were in a war for, think of that, Vietnam 19 years, Iraq 8 years. So. Right. I want to make a good deal. I'm not going to be rushed. I have all the time in the world. I want to make not a good deal. I want to make a great deal. I don't want to do this, go through this. And, if you look at this, what we've suffered in terms of losses, we lost 13 men, and that's terrible. I wish we didn't lose one. But if somebody would have said, we've done this and obliterated that country, obliterated it, and we lost 13 men, people would have said, that's not possible. To have done that. It's not possible. Right. So we've done a great job, and I don't want to be rushed by people that are really treasonous as far as I'm concerned. And it's just, I watch this low IQ guy, Hakeem Jeffries. He's a totally low IQ person, and he's always ranting and raving, oh, this war is so terrible, terrible. They shouldn't be saying that when we're in the midst of a negotiation, because it does hurt us somewhat. It gives the other side some hope, and I don't want them to have hope.
absolute savage on the Hakeem Jeffries and the Chuck Schumer front. I agree with them. Listen, in negotiations, no, we don't want the Iranians to have hope. We want them to feel completely defeated so that way we can get this over with as quickly as humanly possible. The president went on to go after our NATO allies who have been lousy, to say the least.
We can maybe count on more than allies in other parts of the world.
That's true. They're much better allies than NATO, that I can tell you.
Talking about our Middle Eastern allies.
Asking the U.S. for some type of financial lifeline. I don't know if it's a solvency problem. It's more of a liquidity problem. And I know we did, Secretary Bessent did something with Argentina that worked out. Is there some type of swap possible, currency swap with the UAE to help if they need it? And do you think there would be backlash because it's such a or perceived to be such a wealthy country? Is that under consideration?
It is, but it's been a good country. It's been a good ally of ours. And, you know, these are unusual times. They were, more than anybody else, I mean, it was shocking because we thought that they'd shoot missiles at Israel, but not every other country in the area. And, you know, UAE got hit with 1,400 missiles. Now, fortunately, they had the Patriots and they had a great defense, and they were able to shoot down most of them. But they did get hit hard. They were hit the hardest of the group, actually. And they're really led by incredible people. And, yeah, I mean, I'm surprised because they are really rich. You know, they invested a year ago. I went there and I got them to invest $1 trillion in the United States. They're building a tremendous plant in.
Not enough has been said about how Iran has alienated the Middle Eastern countries away from them during this conflict, the launching of missiles at those countries. I mean, everybody's pissed off at Iran in that region. It's not just Israel. Donald Trump is absolutely right. He went on to say this about NATO.
The ones that aren't helping are NATO. You know, NATO said to me, no, we'll send somebody as soon as it's over. I said, that's not really, you know, we don't need them. We'll never need them, actually. They'll need us. They need us desperately because they're a paper tiger. But I've said that. By the way, I've said that for a long time. Before I was in politics, I used to say it. I was not in politics, but I sort of enjoyed it, and I liked watching things. So I always said they were a paper tiger. And
well,
Europe,
we will.
You know, Europe has to straighten themselves out. Between energy and immigration, they have to straighten themselves out, or they're not going to have a Europe anymore.
He's absolutely right, especially on the immigration front. I mean, it doesn't even look like the same country anymore. Currently, we have reports that the IRGC commander may try and blow up the negotiations. No pun intended.
Is reportedly one of the key figures deciding whether or not Iran is going to try to reach a deal here. He is reportedly behind a list of atrocities spanning back decades. That includes Argentina's deadliest terror attack back in 1994. Jeff Paul is tracking it for us. He joins us live this morning. Hi, Jeff.
Yeah, Bill, and during a time of relative peace, someone like Ahmad Vahidi has a lot of authority in Iran. But when you add in a conflict with one of Iran's fiercest adversaries like the U.S., that power he holds is only elevated. Now, analysts have described Vahidi as a radical hardliner who rose the ranks of the IRGC during the Iran-Iraq War of the 1980s. He would later take control of Iran's elite Quds Force in the 90s. Vahidi has been credited with helping build proxy groups across the Middle East and has been connected with terror attacks such as the 1983 Beirut bombing that killed 241 U.S. service members and an attack on the U.S. Embassy in Yemen in 2008. Authorities in Argentina have even charged him with the 1994 bombing of a Jewish community center in Buenos Aires that killed 85 people and injured hundreds more. But he's also held senior roles in politics in Iran, making him a key figure who could be pulling strings both on the battlefield and in the boardroom.
Coming into these negotiations, clearly there's disagreement within the leadership of the Iranians. You see Galibaf, who's on the political side, wanting to make more concessions. Vahidi, who's on the IRGC military side, who has holding most of the cards here and power because he has the guns, seems to be much more of a hardliner.
Now, Vahidi takes control of the IRGC quite literally with the threat of death hanging over him. The last IRGC chief was killed in the early days of the current conflict in February, and the one before him was killed last June during the 12-day war with Israel.
I wouldn't want to be the guy standing in the way of peace right now. It's just me. It seems like that puts a target on your back very, very quickly as the end of this ceasefire looms. We'll keep you updated on all the developments in these negotiation talks, if they are to happen, when they happen, and we'll bring you the latest right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. April showers bring May flowers. Everybody's heard the line, but if the April showers is also bringing water into your basement and your crawl space, you need to call the experts, United Structural Systems. These guys know waterproofing, and if you ignore the issue while it's small, it's only going to get worse. You see that water getting into your crawl space and into your basement? It could lead to much bigger problems for you, your family, and your home. It could lead to mold. You don't want anybody breathing that in. It could lead to wood rot, which leads to foundation issues, which gets real expensive real fast. If you got water getting into your crawl space or basement, call the pros who have been doing this work since 1994. The guys with over 30,000 satisfied customers. Call United Structural Systems. You see, they're going to send an expert to your home to fix your problem. They're not going to send a sales guy worried about a quota. That is a huge difference. If your home has waterproofing issues, foundation issues, you need to call the best. You need to call USS. 615-488-7855. 615-488-7855. You'll always get that peace of mind with United Structural Systems. Online, USSTN.com.
Coming up, consumer spending numbers are in. We'll tell you what Americans were spending money on last month. Also, a big coffee company opens a headquarters here in Nashville. That's coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. It is 26 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, How Are You? Show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. You can listen to it on all the apps, the FM dial. You can watch it on Super Talk TV, which is on YouTube and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. We talked to a friend of the show, Savannah Hernandez, last week. You may remember she was involved in an altercation outside of the Minneapolis ICE facility, and she was savagely trucked by a grown man from behind after being assaulted by that same grown man's wife and daughter. We have a little bit of an update for you. Savannah Hernandez, yesterday, she was posting about the individual that launched her from behind, Chris Ostroko, and he says that the backlash that he is facing because he decided to push a 5-foot-tall woman from behind has been overwhelming and nonstop. And he's asking for your sympathy and your prayers.
Maybe you guys do get doxxed, but I don't know if you guys are getting the same type of stuff that we're getting. And it's nonstop. It's hundreds of phone calls a day. It's text messages and them trying to get into all of our social media accounts and contacting our friends, our neighbors, our family. The rest of our family is getting doxxed as well. It's not just us. It's my sons, their wives, like people that had nothing to do with anything. It's a little overwhelming and it makes me second guess even living in this country, to be honest with you, with all this going on. I've never had this happen in my life.
So sad. So he's second guessing living in the country. He actually has a give, send, go going on right now. They're asking for about $8,000. I would suggest, if we can get the man to buy a ticket out of the country, I think we could get a lot of conservatives to donate to that. But he feels so bad. How could this happen? All he did was push a defenseless 5-foot-tall woman from behind. That's it, guys. Oh, the humanity. Savannah Hernandez said this is her post on X. He's now second-guessing living in the United States because he's unhappy with how negatively the public has reacted to him assaulting a woman on camera. He's in complete disbelief, stating that never has anything like this happened in my life. Chris and Deanna have been going on a press tour, continuing to assert that they are the real victims, despite millions of people watching the footage of them instigating everything. There's also a GoFundMe for them where they are currently trying to raise $8,000, stating that they've lost their jobs and are facing the most overwhelming and life-altering moments they've ever experienced. The family has still taken zero accountability for any of the violence that they committed and are in complete shock that they are facing consequences for their actions. Last week, Chris did an interview where he lied, stating that his family is absolutely not violent and that all he did was stay back and watch everything despite being on camera, shoving Savannah multiple times. This guy is an absolute insane person. He needs to be charged. And I'm waiting for DHS and the FBI to show up. They've been on the phone with Savannah. We have yet to see any moves from DHS or FBI, but this guy should be in jail. He's an absolute psychopath. He pushed an unarmed woman from behind, 5-foot-tall Savannah Hernandez. Screw this guy and get him. I don't even know if I want to live in the country. Yeah, we don't know if we want you here either, to be perfectly honest. 10:30 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's now 10:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. There are serious doubts, this is breaking news, that those peace talks will get underway in Pakistan today. CNN is reporting that Vice President J.D. Vance is still in Washington, D.C. He should have already been boarded on a plane for Pakistan in order for those talks to begin today. But again, he is still in Washington. We'll keep an eye on any developing news out of Washington and Pakistan about those peace talks. Here, closer to home, a serious drug bust in Lebanon where police executed a search warrant at 3 different locations this morning and another one in Hermitage. They seized more than a quarter pound of cocaine and crack cocaine, cash, firearms, and 8 vehicles. Charges, they say, are pending. Starbucks opens a corporate office in Nashville, making it official this morning alongside Governor Bill Lee at the Peabody Union site.
This is one of the coolest cities in America. This is one of the greatest states in the country.
Starbucks investing $100 million in creating 2,000 jobs. There's fake news making it into the mainstream media. Here's Trey Yingst, Fox News, on a false story that Democrat Congressman Chris Murphy described as awesome.
There were some reports overnight indicating that 26 vessels from Iran's shadow fleet were able to make it past the U.S. blockade. There is no evidence of that, and despite what one Democratic senator talked about, there is a concerted effort by the United States to ensure that any vessels that are coming from Iranian ports are turned around or seized, as we saw with that one cargo ship over the weekend.
So, Trey, that was just Iranian propaganda, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yingst also saying the U.S. allows vessels to pass through the strait as long as they're not coming from Iran. And American consumers out making purchases last month.
After a month that saw a 0.7% increase, the March figure came in at 1.7%, exceeding economists' expectations. But analysts suggest that it's not because Americans could spend more, but that they had to. The increase in retail sales was driven primarily by soaring gas prices and rising inflation.
That's ABC's Jim Ryan. That is the latest news. We've got your weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Just a heads up, our friends at Busy Bee are going to be at the Music City Home Expo Friday through Sunday at the Fairgrounds Nashville Expo Center. Go by, see those guys, see what they're working on. They actually have some great specials going on right now, like the Spring Breathe Easy package, which is designed to help you, the homeowner, clear out dust, allergens, and pet dander before that summer heat arrives. The powerful package includes an AC tune-up, plus an indoor air quality check to make sure you and your family are breathing the cleanest, healthiest air possible. You'll receive a dust inspection, premium air duct cleaning, removing that buildup, the debris that's hiding deep inside your system. But that's not all. Busy Bee also installs a whole home germicidal system, which is going to reduce those airborne contaminants. And with premium service, you'll get a bonus unit fog deodorizer, which will leave your system so fresh and so clean, just like spring itself. Now you're getting all this value for $11.99 on 1.5 to 3 ton systems, regularly $1,800, or $15.99 for 3.5 to 5 ton units, regularly $20.99. Take advantage of this deal today. Call my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, or find them online, busybehvac.com. 37 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Did you see the report that Nashville is getting the Super Bowl in 2030? Did you see that? Dan Patrick was talking about that on his show yesterday. He's a sports guy. He's a big sports ball guy. I just want to go on the record right now that people might be excited about this, but nobody's going to have fun. I'm just going to let you know. Mark the tape. Can you mark the tape? Mason, mark the tape. The date is April 21st. The time, 10:38. No one is going to have fun when the Super Bowl is in Tennessee. Okay? I'm just letting you know. It's just, you think you're going to have fun. You think it's going to be awesome. It's not. And I can already hear the complaining. Nobody's going to have a good time. It's going to be awful. I'm just letting you know. Mark the tape. I got another story here that's a bit local. This one, I mean, dude, this story I heard yesterday. I was driving home, and I wasn't driving home. I was driving around with the kids doing the shuffle, and I hear Murphy and Mr. Weaver talking about this story, and it's just absolutely heartbreaking. Infant dies after dog attack at Tennessee home. Horrific on so many levels. So the story goes like this. Authorities in Portland are investigating the death of an infant after a dog attack at a home. Officials said the incident was reported around 7 a.m. yesterday morning in Portland, Tennessee. Early information given to authorities indicates a dog belonging to the family got into the home through a rear door and attacked the child. The infant then died from the injuries. When officers arrived, the dog was still at the home, behaving aggressively. The animal was euthanized at the scene. Good. What are we doing here, guys? If you have a young child in the home, the calculation needs to change. The dog becomes the dog. And if the dog is an aggressive breed, you shouldn't have the dog. I'm sorry. I know people will be like, but I love my pit bull. Okay, I get it. They can be great dogs. But overall, this is a dangerous situation to put a kid in. Now, reports were speculation jumped in and that everybody said it must have been a pit bull, because we constantly see these pit bull attacks, right? And every couple weeks is another one, and it's always heartbreaking. A source called into Matt Murphy's show or texted into Matt Murphy's show yesterday and said it wasn't a pit bull, it was a mastiff, it was a bully breed. What are you doing? Honestly, you have a young child in the home. Why do you have that kind of an animal? You shouldn't. It's a smarter decision not to. And I know that the dog might be great. You might love the dog. The dog might never have an issue. But then one day that dog is going to snap for no rhyme or apparent reason. And I don't understand why you would do that. I don't understand why you would have that dog in the home. I can't imagine what the police officers had to go through. Again, I'm listening to Murphy yesterday. He nailed it. You think about all the things that police officers have to deal with. And he said, I always give the police officers the benefit of the doubt. But you're a police officer and you're going through your day and you have to go in and you see that scene. Horrific. I'm glad they shot the dog. That dog, no chance of rehabilitation. Put it down quick. I can't imagine what the family's going through. Heartbreaking. I couldn't imagine what it would be like if it was my child. I would lose my mind. I can't imagine what I was thinking about yesterday. I'm driving down the road. I'm coming down to Old Fort Parkway. I'm like, what would your day be like if that happened to you? Absolutely shocking. Heartbreaking. Praying for the family. I really am. But it could have all been avoided. It really could have. You don't need to have a dog like that in the home, especially if you have young kids. And you see these stories with these bully breeds all the time. I mean, and it's like every couple days you see one. And I don't know if your algorithm's like this. Mine is. I mean, it's like this kind of stuff isn't new. It's not like this stuff takes us by surprise. This is what these kinds of breeds of dogs do. They snap. I saw a story a couple weeks ago. It was last week, where it was in Detroit. A young 6-year-old was attacked by 2 pit bulls at his home, and he lost his arms and his legs. and you see these stories and you think it'll never happen to you, but why on earth would you take the risk? It doesn't make any sense to me. This is the one out of Detroit. This isn't out of Portland, but it's just another example of why would you give yourself the chance for this to happen?
A little boy viciously attacked by animals.
Every time I close my eyes, I just see dogs tearing at him, pulling him in, him screaming for dear life, for help.
Now the child is in the hospital faced with the loss of limbs and other serious injuries. It's an attack that will forever change a 6-year-old little boy's life, and it tops our news here at 6. I'm Damon Fernandez.
And I'm Ty Steele. Doctors already amputated one of the boy's injured arms, and family members say he's been preparing all day for surgery to have the other arm removed as well.
That attack happened on Rosemont near Trojan in Detroit. I spoke with investigators and the little boy's family today. I must warn you, some of the details you're about to hear are very disturbing.
And that's kind of where I'm going to leave it. I saw this story last week, and I was like, I can't do these stories, and I pretty much have a very strong stomach when it comes to the kids. I can't do it. But when a story like this that happens in Portland, Tennessee, touches so close to home, it's an important point to bring up. There's no reason to have a dog like this in the home. There isn't. There just is no reason to do it, and you should rethink it if you're bringing home a young baby into your home. You got young kids. And you have one of those breeds, I mean, how many horrific stories do you need to hear to rethink it? I don't understand. And maybe you disagree with me. 615-737-9986. You're welcome to join the show. But when I hear the story out of Portland, I'm like, this could have been avoided. The dog needs to be the dog. Like, I don't know how much cleaner you can explain it. And when you have young kids, that dog needs to take a back seat. And if the dog is a bully breed, you need to get it out of the home. You do. And if you live in a neighborhood where neighbors have dogs like that, you need to be on high alert. Because so often we hear other horrifying stories where it's like, oh, I saw one, this was just from last week. A young boy's riding his bike in a neighborhood, and a neighbor's pit bull gets out and attacks him. I mean, how many of these stories do we need to hear before you change your mind? Honestly.
Oh. I just wanted to say thank you. We're so grateful. I had no idea how many great people there were around us, and I'm so thankful that we live here.
That's a story out of Washington. They're thanking a good Samaritan who had to jump out of his car to save a young boy who was being attacked by a dog on the street. These stories happen so often. Why do you have one of these dogs in your home? I don't understand it. And I know that there are good pit bulls. I know that there are good mastiffs. But overall, this breed is built to snap. This is what they do. Get rid of those dogs. Get rid of them. If you have a young child in the home, there's no excuse. And nothing is going to change my mind. I have 4 kids. I wouldn't do it. It's not worth the risk. You see the horrific scene that happened in Portland, Tennessee yesterday, and you're going to take that chance? Why? Why would you take that chance? It's heartbreaking. My heart goes out to the family. It really does. Like, I pray for them. I don't know how you could ever recover from a situation like that, but it is horrifying. Let's go to Daniel in Gallatin on the dog attack in Portland. What's up, Daniel?
Hey, Mr. Hand, how are you this morning, sir?
I'm good. What do you got?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, the good Lord never blessed me with children of my own. But in regards to this situation with this family, I can only imagine the grief that they're having to go through, and my heart and sympathies are definitely with the family, along with all my prayers. However, whenever the police showed up there at 7 o'clock in the morning, they would not have had to euthanize that dog. That dog would have been already taken care of by the time they got there.
I'm with you. I would have done it myself.
Regardless, I mean, a dog with a tendency. I mean, look, if a dog has teeth, it has the potential to bite. It has the potential to attack, regardless of the breed. Now, some dog breeds are genetically dispositioned for this, and unfortunately, these are very popular breeds of dogs. But if I had a dog that was violent toward anybody, family member or not, maybe my neighbor's cat, go after somebody in an attacking type manner, I would not have the dog.
Yeah,
Period.
I'm with you. Why? What kind of risk is worth it? And it doesn't make any sense. You got to, I got a text here, 8203. You got to Christy Nome that dog. I mean, we shouldn't be putting our children in any situations at risk. And to a certain extent, I wonder if would you support child endangerment charges for the parents?
No, I would not support child endangerment charges for the dog unless there was a history of that the dog had done something similar to this in the past. Unfortunately, you cannot predict these type of events, so they would have to have prior knowledge to the dog having a violent history.
Well,
guilty of something like that.
If I recall correctly, in the reports, they said that they had moved the dog outside after they had brought home the infant. So I think that they had some inclination that this dog might be a bit off.
I feel like the life that they're going to have to live now will be punishment enough. I don't think there needs to be any charges brought to them. They got to live with what's happened, unfortunately, and that's going to be something that never leaves that family.
I do pray for them. I don't know what I would do if that happened to one of my children. I don't know. I don't know how I could live with myself.
Well, then, so putting child endangerment charges on there isn't really going to top the punishment that they're already going through.
Yeah, I hear you, man, and I appreciate the call, Daniel. We're talking about the dog attack that happened yesterday in Portland, Tennessee. An infant has been killed by a dog. Again, reports are that this was a Mastiff, and that's from a source close to the situation that let Matt Murphy know this yesterday on his show. Not 100% confirmed, but that's what we're hearing here at Super Talk. Let's go to David in Ashland City on the dog attack. What's up, Dave?
What's going on, brother?
What do you got?
Well, I kind of see both points about it, man. I agree with you guys, 100%. I've had a child that, was attacked by a dog, and the dog didn't last very long. But you gotta look at the parents, man. The parents knew that there was a problem with the dog. They knew they had to separate the dog from the kid. They knew that the dog didn't need to be around the kid. It's the parents' fault, 100%.
I mean, if it was your family, are you letting that dog stay in the backyard, or are you getting rid of the dog the moment you bring the infant home?
No, I got rid of the dog. I've been through the same situation with the Rottweiler. The Rottweiler growled at my dog once, at the kid once. The next day, the dog was gone. I agree with you 100%, but these dogs are bred for certain things, and, people make pets out of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, I'm not disagreeing with you at all, but there needs to be more blame put on the parents. The parents knew the problem was with the dog. They knew they had to separate the dog.
If it's up to you, are you bringing charges against those parents?
100%.
100%. Dave, I appreciate the call. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. 615-737-9986. It's 1050. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Glock store. If you don't have a firearm, you haven't trained on a firearm, the best place to get one, the best place to train, it's at the only Glock store. They don't have lane ranges. They have shooting rooms. They have real-life scenarios to help you get ready to use that firearm. Should, God forbid, you ever have to. If you've never been to the Glock store, here's a perfect day for you to come join us, Saturday, May 30th. Circle that date on your calendar. It is the Glock store's 6th annual Nashville Open House. I plan on being there. Mandis is going to be there. Murphy is going to be there. It's going to be awesome. If you've been to one of their open houses before, you know how great they are. They always have the best speakers, demonstrations, shooting competitions. They'll have all these tables with vendors, factory reps, giving out factory swag, and the biggest and best open to the public free gun gear raffle in all of Nashville, likely the entire country. Last year, they gave away over $25,000 in incredible raffle prizes, plus 3 Glocks, including a Glock store custom Glock that was worth over $2,000. How many Glocks are they going to give away this year? Stay tuned. We'll keep you posted very, very shortly as details become available. The one detail that you need to know today, Saturday, May 30th. Circle it on your calendar. That's the Glock Store's 6th annual open house. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, and always open online, glockstore.com.
All right, drivers in Jolton, we've got construction blocking your way 24 eastbound right there at the Cheatham-Davidson County line. That's going to be exit, well, it's not giving me the exit, but it is stop and go starting at the McMahon Hollow Road overpass. And the Gulch got a crash blocking the left lane, 40 westbound at Numumbrian, and then the right shoulder blocked by a crash, 65 northbound at Rosa Parks Boulevard. Still not sure whether Iran is going to engage in more peace talks. We'll give you the latest coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
One thing we know for sure is that J.D. Vance is still in D.C.
He's in D.C., and from what I understand, it takes a while to get to Pakistan.
I was going to say, I'm not a travel agent. I just play one on TV, but it's a distance.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a distance.
It's going to be at least a 2-hour drive.
At least. And I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't seem good. We're talking about what happened yesterday in Portland, Tennessee. The just absolutely horrific story about what happened to a young infant. Allegedly, according to sources speaking to WTN's Matt Murphy, done by a Mastiff. I have the question: why would you let this dog in your home if you have a young child? I got a text from my friend Tim. He said, I disagree with the direction this topic is taking. There are way more dog attacks from the other breeds that don't make the news. Bad owners train these types of dogs to be aggressive. It's an owner issue, not a dog breed issue. Interesting fact, what type of dog was Petey on the Little Rascal? Pitbull. Pitbulls have always known to be the nanny dog. They are the best protectors of children when owned by responsible people. Why would you take the chance? Why would you take the chance? I'm not taking the chance with my kids. Would you take the chance with your kids? Matthew in Carthage, would you take the chance with your child? Matthew hung up. Let's go to, is it Nancy in Columbia?
Nancy.
Oh, what's up, man? What are you thinking?
Yeah, no, I would just say I'm from South Africa. We have 2 pit bulls there, and we lose them at 14 and 15 years old. Lovable dogs, very, very lovable. And then my son have 2 here in Colombia, and they died also at 16 and 15. And I have one as well here. He died at 14. And those dogs, I think they were so lovable. I think the thing is that people do and don't realize is you don't need to mix the dogs breed. You have to have them the same breed and a good breed, and it's still maybe a risk. But
but you hear stories. You hear stories of, man, the pit bull or the dog was great, and he was a perfect family dog until one day. Until one day that dog snapped. Why would you risk it when you have a little baby in the home?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. You have to be careful. But we were lucky in our experience. With our kids, they are all grown up and have their own children and dogs and whatever. So, but I would just say, that the pit bulls that we have the right breed, and they were all lovable and good dogs. And it's like you said, one day maybe with all dogs.
Yeah, I hear you, man, and I've had friends with pit bulls that are great. I'm not painting with a broad brush. One dog can be great, but I just wouldn't risk it with my kids. Randy in Lewisburg, would you risk it with yours?
Yeah, I got 2 pit bulls, a golden retriever, a hound dog, and the most aggressive one I've got is the golden retriever. By far. The pit bulls actually raised my stepson. He was 3 when I met him, and they've raised him, and he's 8 years old now, and they will protect him with their lives, and they play with him gently. It is, and I'm not saying I'm this great trainer, but it is about who owns a dog and what they're doing with it. A lot of people have these dogs, and they get mad when they don't do exactly what they say, but they don't never train them. They expect untrained dogs to act trained. And if you don't give them a course in life, just like any human being, they're going to take a course of instinct.
But, it seems like the stories where you have a great dog that just snaps always ends up being one of these bully breeds. So I don't know. I have an issue why would you risk it with such a young child in the home?
Because I grew up with pit bulls, and I know their nature, and I do know how to train them. And, it's like the guy said before, there's a lot more attacks from other dogs more than pit bulls. You just hear about the pit bulls, I guess because it makes a better story. But it's not about
it might make a better story. It could just be happening with more frequency.
Well, like you say, a lot more different breeds are out here doing it. But if you don't train your dog, I don't care what, a Chihuahua can be mean and chew you up.
That's fair.
Trust me on that one.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Hey, I appreciate the call, Randy. We'll take some more of your calls on the way. It's 11:01 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Starbucks moving a corporate office to Nashville. Going to hire 2,000 employees, we're told. Meanwhile, Operation Epic Fury. Still not sure whether Iran is going to engage in more peace talks. The current ceasefire expires tomorrow. Even still, President Trump telling CNBC today he is confident about the likelihood that a deal would be reached, saying that Iran has, quote, no choice but to send representatives. ABC News contributor and former Defense Department official Mick Mulroy says Iran's economy is getting crippled by the war, and it would benefit them to engage in talks.
It's in their interest. They obviously are having a big issue with the blockade that the U.S. military is doing right now. It is not only cutting off their ability to sell their energy, which they use to fund the regime, but also to get goods. Like this ship that was just seized was going to Bandar Abbas, which is a port in Iran, delivering goods.
President Trump's nominee to be the next Federal Reserve chair going before the Senate Banking Committee today. Jerome Powell's term as chair due to expire next month, but Powell has pledged not to leave the Fed if his replacement isn't confirmed by then. The Justice Department's ongoing probe of Powell is the main complicating factor, as ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy reports from Washington.
With the nominee pledging to keep the nation's central bank free from political interference, Massachusetts Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren tried to put Kevin Warsh's independence to the test.
Mr. Warsh, did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?
We try to keep politics, if I'm confirmed, out of the Federal
I'm just
Reserve.
asking a factual question.
North Carolina Republican Tom Tillis says he would support Warsh.
You have extraordinary credentials.
But Tillis says he won't back him while the Justice Department continues probing the Fed's costly renovation under outgoing Chair Jerome Powell. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Well, he wasn't as familiar as Donnie or Marie, but one of the Osmonds has passed away at the age of 76.
There's a message from you in the air.
Just like you might not have known this hard-driving rock hit Crazy Horses was an Osmond song, you might not have known that Alan Osmond was one of those who co-wrote it. Alan was the oldest of the performing Osmond brothers and had 8 sons of his own. He usually sang backup, but also played bass, guitar, piano, and trumpet. Alan and his brothers Jay, Merrill, and Wayne were the original band members, later joined by Donnie. Alan Osmond was diagnosed with MS in 1987. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. You can listen to us anywhere, iHeartRadio, FM Dial, TuneIn, there are a bunch of apps. You can watch us as well. Super Talk TV is up on YouTube, Rumble. Those are the big ones. Hit like, hit subscribe. We appreciate you joining the show, however you'd like to join the show. I got a lot of people saying, yep, don't have a pit bull in the home. Don't have a bully breed dog in the home. Why would you risk it? And then I got a lot of other people saying, well, come on, I have a pit bull and he's great. Okay, you might. But everybody had a pit bull that was great until they snapped one day. Everybody had a bully breed that was great until they snapped one day. I just don't know why you would risk that when you have young kids in the home. I got another text from an individual who's like, oh, I feel so bad for you and your kids. They're never going to grow up with the joy of a dog in the home. You're robbing your kids of such an important thing. I do have dogs. We have a chocolate lab, and we have a King Charles Cavalier. Both of them gentle as all get out. Great dogs, and we love both of them. And I don't fear that they might snap one day. I mean, all dogs bite. All dogs could attack. But it just seems like the frequency is far higher with these bully breeds. I got a lot of people also saying like, oh, you said it was a Mastiff. Mastiff's not a bully breed. It's like, okay, there are several Mastiffs that are on the bully breed list. Neapolitan Mastiff, Bull Mastiff. So, I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell you. The story out of Portland is horrific, absolutely chaotic. And I pray for the parents. I don't know what they're going through today. I couldn't imagine losing one of my children in such a horrific, violent way. But they did yesterday. Inside a home in Portland at around 7 a.m., there was a call to police. A dog attacked a baby. The baby is no longer with us. The dog is no longer with us. The officers arrived. The dog was acting aggressively in the home. The officers put that dog down, as they should. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how the cops could handle a situation like that. I think there are many situations that you could wrap your head around as a police officer. Seeing a dead body is one thing. Seeing an infant that was mauled by a dog, I pray for those officers. I wouldn't want to respond to a situation like that, would you? 615-737-9986. Mark in Kentucky, you're up first on Super Talk. What's up, Mark? Yo, Mark, what's up, man? All right, we put Mark on hold. Somebody do a wellness check on Mark. Ron in Lawrenceburg. What's up, Ron?
Good morning, sir. Yes, I've had several Mastiffs, Conde Corsos particularly, over a period of 40 years. And no, I would not let a child, an infant, in proximity to my Conde unsupervised.
Tell me why.
That's just an accident waiting to happen.
Why would it be an accident waiting to happen?
Explicitly. Because children don't understand borders, relationships, and how to handle large breeds, even toy breeds, whether it be a Chihuahua. I find even the last caller with the King Charles, I've run into some far more aggressive and violent than my Connies. It depends on how you expose them, train them, and encourage them with the behaviors you want. Having said that, I've actually adopted some from rescue organizations, and they turned out to be disasters. You don't know the background. And that's when breeders do come in. If you get a well-bred dog, I find they're much easier to handle and prepare for proper training. If, however, like one I had, I did a DNA test, and it was an accident waiting to happen. And he was so aggressive and so violent, he didn't attack anybody but myself. And I still worked with him. But when he started trying to attack people walking their dogs, he went right back with the pound to say this is a violent dog. It is not family friendly.
And to your point, though, on the smaller breeds, they can't inflict as much damage as quickly as one of these larger breeds can.
Size matters.
It absolutely does. It absolutely does. Ron, I appreciate the call, man. Thank you so much. Let's go to Ann in Columbia. What's up, Ann?
Hey, Chris. We have 2 Cavapoos, and we have had several Dobermans. The temperament doesn't bother me as much. It's the size of the bite. If someone is bit by our Doberman, it's going to be bad. If they're bitten by one of our smaller dogs, not so much.
Right.
But it is the training. Our dogs are very well trained, but when the grandkids come over, we just make sure that we are observing. I don't think anything would happen. Nothing has, but it could. And if it happened with our Doberman, it would be bad.
So do you take extra precautions with the Doberman around the grandkids? Do you keep the Doberman outside? Or are you, how nervous are you?
Oh, not real nervous. We just make sure we are around them. He has never even growled at them, but if he's laying down, we don't want the grandkids coming up and crawling on him or making him uncomfortable where he would bite. That would be terrible. So we just make sure that we are always with them, or we do. We put the dogs up when they're there. It's just, to me, it's common sense.
Yeah, I hear you. And I think that with some of these breeds, the fear is there a little bit more than others. I mean, like I said, I have a chocolate lab. My kids crawl all over this dog. They are constantly pulling up his gums and looking at his teeth and tugging on his ears, and he doesn't care at all. In fact, my boys, I've had to tell them to stop now because they're bigger. But when they were younger, they would get on Hank, our chocolate lab. One of them would sit on Hank, and the other one would go down to the end of the hall, and they'd say, "Come here, Hank," and they would try and hold on as Hank got up to go see the other kid and ride him. Like, there are dogs that are great with kids. There are dogs that you're nervous with kids around. I just don't understand why you would allow a dog that you might be nervous anywhere near a kid, or have one in the home altogether. Let's go to a UT fan in Nashville wants to talk about bully breeds. What's up?
Hey, Chris. Yeah, people have been around dogs. I've been around dogs my entire life, and you can just tell from the look of a pit bull. Like, I have friends that have, labs, stuff like that. You can play with them, get aggressive with them, roll around, and they're fine. But sometimes you're playing, rough with a bull breed or pit bull, and it's just got that look sometimes. I didn't know if it wants to attack you or what, And also, when I was younger, we lived in an apartment with my mom while our house was being built, and we had some neighbors they were young, I guess in their 20s or so. Beautiful couple. They were together for at least 6 years, and they had a pit bull. And, the girlfriend was there constantly. No problems at all. And one day he was cooking, venison, and some blood dripped on the floor, and the dog licked up the blood. And when she reached down to pet the dog just looked up at her, lashed onto her face, and just did tons of damage. She had to have like 15 plastic surgeries.
Jesus.
So, ever since then, I've never trusted a pit bull. There's some that are great, but like I said, they always got that look where they just, I don't know. It's just, people have been around dogs a lot. You just kind of know what I'm talking about. They got a look that you just don't know what they're thinking half the time.
And that's my biggest thing. Like, when you have young kids in the home, the dog needs to become the dog. Like, it's not the fur baby that you think it is anymore. Like, that's got to stop. Like, be an adult. You have young children in the home. Like, you have to put them in their safety at a high level, a high priority. And I've been around pit bulls that are great, absolutely fantastic. Wouldn't think for a second that it's worth the risk.
Exactly.
Hey, I appreciate the call, man. Let's go to Mark in Kentucky. What's up, Mark?
Hey, I just wanted to say we can't use government as a tool to solve this problem by taking away people's choices and rights. There are people who should have these dogs and people who shouldn't have them. I've seen disaster happen with these dogs, but it's not the dogs. We have to hold the owners responsible, whether the parents or some other parents, and we have to we have to charge them and try them. This is going to be an education process that will save a lot of children and other people when people are responsible for their dogs and if they get out. I've had this debate and these dogs a lot. They're very, a pit bull or a breed like that can injure a child out of the sheer delight of being around a child and family without any intention or snapping at all. The tail, I've seen a tail whipped around so hard from delight of seeing family members that he knocks the child down while I'm screaming for people to be careful. You can't just be unconscious of the power of these dogs around them.
Well, I mean, for starters,
So
I'm not advocating for the government to step in here by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think the government solves problems. I think
there ought
the
to be a
government,
law, is what I was hearing there.
No, I don't think there should be a law against it. I think personal freedom is just that. But I also think that you should be smarter when you have young kids in the home to not put them at risk. I wouldn't leave a loaded leave a loaded firearm on the table. And I think that you can make the argument that a dog like that, a bully breed, could be just as dangerous to a young child.
So what alternative do you have other than education and through the punishment, through the legal system of people who are not responsible pet owners of any breed, especially the dangerous ones? There are a lot of people that need those dogs around.
Do you believe these parents should be charged with some sort of crime?
That's what I said. Second point, they should be charged. Yes, they should. I know they have horrendous loss already. I understand that. I hate that for them. I hate that, but for the child, they're already living. This might be taking a burden off of them, because how do you live? They wouldn't have to charge me, believe me.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I'm pretty much in the exact same spot as you are. I appreciate the call, Mark. Wayne in Nashville. What's up, Wayne?
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm good. What do you got?
Well, we had Australian Shepherds up until recently. Our last one passed away. But the best dogs, I had a German Shepherd before that, and she was awesome. Our kids grew up with her, and when I was a kid, I had a German Shepherd, full-blooded German Shepherd, and that dog would not let any stranger near me. I was probably around 6 to 10 years old when we had that German Shepherd. But what I was going to say was also that chows are absolutely, in my opinion, the worst little biters.
You said cows or chows?
Chows.
Chows. Okay.
C-H-O-W-S, chows. Those things are just so obnoxious when it comes to being aggressive. I've known several people that have them, and they just don't like anybody, and they want to bite. And it's like, okay, but you know, with a kid, with a small child, it shows dogs get aggressive or get defensive around other things that are the same size as they are. And I think there's this correlation between, like, with kids that get attacked by dogs is because the dog sees the child not as a child, but as a target, you know, or as a threat.
Mm-hmm.
And it's right there on their level. And I think that's the reason why you hear so many kids getting attacked, especially by pit bulls and the mastiffs and some of those breeds, outside of the other dogs that are much more gentle, or they're just not bred the same way. And I never have been a fan of pit bulls or any of the terriers like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm more of a shepherd lab kind of person.
Got you. Yeah, I hear you, man. I'm getting, and I appreciate the phone call, Wayne. I'm getting a lot of texts. I've gotten like several, like maybe 10 texts. People are like, well, you let your child get in a car, don't you? You let your child get in a vehicle every day. 3 children die every day as a result of car accidents. Okay. Which one's the necessity? Is it a necessity to have a bully breed dog in your home? Exactly. Thank you. Let's go to Carl on the road, who is a dog trainer. What's up, Carl?
Hey, Chris. Thank you so much for taking my call. I did want to address some of your comments about bully breeds and so forth. Yes, I was a dog trainer, licensed trainer several years back, and I know quite a bit about different breeds and so forth. And ultimately, it does not necessarily come down to one breed versus the other in terms of their temperament. Dogs are pack animals, and that means that they need to be part of the family, a pack. And the biggest recipe for disaster, no matter what the breed, is separation, separating a dog from that pack. I myself, I do have a pit bull, Blue. He's an absolutely wonderful dog. When he was young, we had to make sure that he exercised and that he was part of the pack and that he was loved by the children, and he's a very, very protective, loves the kids, never, ever had an issue with him. But I can guarantee you, anytime you might separate an animal from the family or from its pack, it is going to begin to look for ways to move itself back up in the ranking. So there is a dominance issue with some animals. They're more dominant than others. There are issues where the dog, like maybe in this case, the dog felt displaced and the baby came into the picture, and now in their mind the baby's a younger dog and took out aggression on it and it looking for its rightful place back within the pack. Now, I don't know enough about the situation there to fully address it, but I can tell you that, yes, there are some animals that have greater dominance and vie for that alpha stature within the pack. But the biggest, most important thing you can do with any breed is making sure that they have plenty of socialization and plenty of interaction if you want a loving breed that'll be the great family pet. Even your chocolate lab. If you put your chocolate lab outside in the backyard, put him on a rope, and leave him and ignore him and just feed him and water him whenever, I guarantee you your dog will eventually turn into something that's less desirable.
Yeah, no, and I get that. Yeah. I just think that there's a more inherent risk with a pit bull in the home than there is with a chocolate lab in the home.
Well, I agree with you too, Chris. The breeding of these popular breeds creates a dynamic too where you're getting lots and lots of variations, lots and lots of inbreeding to get that so-called perfect AKC look. You're going to start to find it even with the Labradoodles, the Golden Doodles, the Burma Doodles and all that because they're so popular. Eventually you get some strange strains of them and they end up not behaving indicative to what their breeding was meant for. And some breeds are naturally more aggressive than others. Shepherds, in my opinion, of all the dogs that I trained, and I had a pet containment company in Florida, probably the most challenging and the most difficult ones that I dealt with were German Shepherds. They were the most, because they are so close in lineage to the original Canis lupus, the what is considered to be the modern day wolf. You have so much more pack protection and prioritizing within their social structure, within their hierarchy, and within their natural existence that they feel the necessity to have a dominant position within the pack, and they can become, especially if left alone, they can become extremely dangerous dogs. Extremely.
Hey, I appreciate the call and the insight. No, thank you, man. I appreciate your perspective. Let's go. I got time for one more. Let's go to William on the road. What's up, Will?
Hey, man, first of all, I want to say that I started listening to your show particularly. I realized you were a super dude, man. When Charlie Kirk passed away, the following day listening to you, I told my wife, I said, this guy is a real man. You are a true real man, and I love listening to you.
Well, I appreciate you.
I have two kids in law enforcement. I heard about the call at 10 a.m. yesterday. I live in that area. My kids are in law enforcement in that area. I got a lot more of the detail, unfortunately, being in that law enforcement family. You hear a lot more about the call and stuff like that. It was a horrible situation. Chris, if you kind of stop and think for a second, there was a not too far off long ago was a situation where there was a child being attacked in the yard, and there was an elderly man who ran up on that child to save that child's life, and the old man wound up dying. And if I'm not mistaken, that was a bully breed as well. Look, a lot of people I'm gonna rile some people up here, but it's always a bully breed. It's never a Labradoodle. It's never a Cocker Spaniel. It's never, a Yorkie. It's always a bully breed.
I know.
I'd say your last caller probably hit the nail on the head, because from what I heard is the dog had been familiar with the home and had been put outside the home, and there's a possibility that maybe that dog, seek revenge in a sense, I guess you could say, however you want to say it. But regardless, I don't feel bad for the parents. I hate to say it that way. I don't want to sound like a jerk about it. It's the baby's life to care about, and I think people need to be held accountable for for actions such as this. That's all I've got. I appreciate you hearing me out.
William, I appreciate the call. It's 11:27. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hanna. I'm going to tell you about my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. If you think you have to wait for open enrollment to get health insurance, that is wrong. That's just what the big guys want you to think. With Cover Nash, you can get covered today, right now. No waiting, no gimmicks. You missed open enrollment, no problem. You lost your job coverage. It's not exactly ideal, but Shane Ring can help you out. If you're sick of overpriced junk insurance, you're in the right place. Even if you think you got a good price, you should still call Shane Ring today because he could save you some money. You see, Cover Nash partners with over 75 top-rated insurance companies, including brand-new nationwide PPO options with deductibles as low as $250, flat $50 doctor visits, ACA-compliant plans with free preventative care, plans for individuals, families, whether you're self-employed, you own your own business, Shane has a plan for you. Stop overpaying, stop waiting, stop thinking you're stuck. Save some money today. You can go to covernash.com or you can pick up the phone and call Shane right now. I bet you he's at his desk waiting to speak with you. 615-465-0023. That's 615-465-0023. Health insurance on your terms, not the government's. Covernash.com.
All right, drivers in Jolton, you got construction blocking 24 eastbound right there at the Cheatham-Davidson County line. Then you've got a medical emergency blocking the right lane, 40 westbound before Fessler's Lane. And in Berry Hill, a crash on the right shoulder, 440 westbound before I-65. And everybody's watching Vice President J.D. Vance as a sign, and where he is as a sign. Will there be another peace talk before the ceasefire ends with Iran? We'll tell you about it coming up on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. I'm going to give you time for one deep breath, Ken Weaver. And we're going to come right back to you. Lightning round on the way after the news with Ken Weaver. It's 11:31. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. And again, everybody's got their eyes on Vice President J.D. Vance as a sign if there'll be any more talks to end the war with Iran. It's unclear there's going to be any before the ceasefire ends tomorrow evening. Vice President Vance is still in Washington. The talks are supposed to take place in Pakistan. ABC News contributor and former Defense Department official Mick Mulroy says the president should consider extending it, in his opinion, since it officially runs out tomorrow.
Although President Trump said he wasn't going to extend it, I do think it's possible that if Vice President Vance gets there, the Iranian delegation is there, they're making progress, that this is an artificially self-imposed deadline, that there is no reason not to shift it to the right, as they say, if we're making progress.
Right now in Tennessee, legislation aimed at accountability following NES's response to the January ice storm is headed to Governor Lee's desk. Channel 4's Joyland Pukovic reports.
Lawmakers passed House Bill 2592 on Monday. It would increase oversight of large municipal electric utilities like Nashville Electric Service. The measure also requires the Tennessee Public Utility Commission to file an additional yearly report looking at how well consumer protection laws, like the rules around unwanted calls and texts, are actually being followed. Supporters say this is a step towards transparency and making sure utility companies are held accountable when things go wrong.
Legislation requires municipal electric systems with at least 3,500 customers outside their home jurisdiction to expand their boards to allow counties to appoint a representative if they choose. And with inflation showing little sign of letting up, a growing number of Americans taking on extra work, says ABC's Jim Ryan with the results of a new survey.
According to Side Hustle Nation, which provides support, job placement, and online training for moonlighters, 39% of working Americans have a second job, including 57% of Gen Z, the youngest members of the workforce. A survey of the company's clients finds that most like the freedom of an extra job, while more than a quarter need the money just to make ends meet.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Zero Res Nashville. It's the perfect time of year to use my friends at Zero Res. You got to clean up the house for spring, get rid of the flu and the cold, get it all out of the house. Carpet cleaning is the best way to go. I have 4 kids. We love Zero Res. The kids make a mess when it comes to the baseball dirt. My daughter will get the applesauce pouches, and she does windmills. She spins around, and then there's applesauce everywhere. Every time something like this would happen, I would be like, man, what are we going to do? Now I know exactly what we're going to do. We're going to call Zero Res. They're the Maha of carpet cleaning. They don't use harsh chemicals. They don't leave behind soap residue. They use their exclusive ZR water system, and it actually gets everything out. Your carpets aren't just going to look insanely clean. They're going to stay clean longer. Take it from me. It matters when you got kids running in and out of the house all day long. Right now, again, it's the perfect time to do it. We're coming out of cold and flu season. Spring is here. It's time to clean it up. 4,800 Google reviews and a 4.9 rating. A lot of families around town are using these guys. It's not just me. You can call them today or book online, 615-535-9376 or ZeroResNashville.com. You ask them about the 2 and 3 room specials, and don't forget to ask about air duct cleaning as well. Zero Res, you can spell it forward, you can spell it backwards. It's the right way to clean. 615-535-9376, ZeroResNashville.com. 38 minutes past the hour. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. You can join the show any way you'd like. 615-737-9986. That's the text line. That's the phone lines. You can jump in on the chat on YouTube or Rumble. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. Help us grow the digital footprint of the radio station. It's that time of the day again. We always do it at this time. It's time for the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
Brian's training back there. He's doing a decent job. The Curb Your Enthusiasm music was a little apropos. It's so funny. I'm here for it. I don't get upset.
I kind of jumped out on it. I was like, oh, it's the lightning round. He went, ha, ha.
I'm probably the best guy to train with because I don't take it too seriously.
Yeah, it doesn't get under your skin that hard.
People have much harder jobs than we do. And if a sound effect is going to bend you out of shape, then you're in the wrong industry. Unless it's Mason.
Respect my authority.
He knows better.
Give me a break.
I'm just saying. We do it every day this time. It's called the Lightning Round. We cover all the stories that wouldn't fill an entire segment. Stories that we ran out of time to talk about. Stories that we just want to make sure that you know about. And this one's a good one. First story in the Lightning Round. I say a good one. Probably not the right way to describe it. But just another reason to let Virginians know that elections have consequences as they head to the polls today to look at the redistricting vote, where they're going to take a 6-5 Democrat majority and turn it into a 10-1 Democrat majority. Let's talk about what Virginia Democrats can get you. There was an illegal alien who groped a girl in a high school, and he just got sentenced to prison. Not that much prison, though. Let's listen in.
Breaking news moments ago, the adult 18-year-old illegal immigrant found guilty of sexually assaulting several high school girls in Virginia has just been sentenced to 100 days behind bars. And one correction there, he's actually 19 years old. We know he was 19 years old attending that school as an adult. However, with time served and the calculations for a misdemeanor crime, he has 135 days left in prison, about 4.5 months. Shannon, it is unthinkable that it's 135 days. But here's something Spanberger can do. Serve his time. ICE has issued a detainer. He's in the country illegally. Give him to ICE and get this guy deported.
Guess what Abigail Spanberger is probably not going to do, because she signed, she tore up the cooperation agreement with ICE her first day in office. She's not going to turn this monster over. No. And you know what? Elections have consequences. I wouldn't have my kids in a public school where they're allowing illegal aliens to continue going there up until, I think it's age 22. We covered the story a few weeks back, and it's like, if you're an illegal alien and you're in the school system in Virginia, you can attend until you're up to 22. 180 days in jail for this? Ridiculous. Elections have consequences, though.
Yeah, if I were ICE, I would start the clock ticking. I would set myself a little timer for this guy. If he's going to, and you know, there can be reasons that they get out a couple of days early, those kinds of things, good behavior, whatever. But I would be ready for this guy and standing by and make the governor explain why she's not going to have ICE detainer honored if you're not going to for a man that was assaulting young women. There's reporting, and I would have to look at the misdemeanors here, that he could have faced up to 12 months per count, and there were 9 of them. So think about that. That's 9 years potentially, if this reporting is accurate on that misdemeanor, that he could have faced, and instead he's getting 4 months. If I'm ICE, I'm standing outside the door of the jail waiting for him.
What do you think the prison sentence would have been if this was a white male student in the state of Virginia? It probably would have been fair. It probably would have been reasonable. It probably would have been those years that they were talking about, and nobody would have batted an eye at it. But because it's an illegal alien, slap on the wrist time, 180 days, time served, 135, 4.5 months. And they probably will let him out a couple days early, so that way he can get around the ICE detainer, and that way he can be free to roam the streets of Virginia and do this again. Elections have consequences. If you're a Republican and you know Republican friends in the Commonwealth of Virginia, let them know today is the day. Do they want representation? Because they're about to lose it if they don't get out to the polls. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. In the lightning round. There it is. Lori Chavez DeRemer is out. We have seen a couple Trump administration officials leave in recent weeks. Kristi Noem was one of the first high-profile ones. She parachuted into another job in the administration. We saw Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino. He's out. He's retiring. It feels like a forced retirement. And people that I've spoken to on the ground that go to these protests, they say that they felt a lot safer around the leftists when Greg Bovino was in charge. Then we had Pam Bondi, who was just a train wreck of an attorney general. No love lost there. I think everybody knows how I feel about Attorney General Pam Bondi. But now we have another Trump administration official, another cabinet member leaving. Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer is leaving the Trump administration. Deputy Secretary Keith Sonderling is going to serve as acting labor secretary. This is from Axios. The big picture: Chavez DeRemer has faced scrutiny over several misconduct scandals, including allegations of mishandling department funds, inappropriate relationships with staff, which the Trump administration has called baseless. But Chavez DeRemer thanked President Trump in an ex-post, said she's proud of the work that she has done at the Labor Department and what they have achieved, saying it's been an honor and a privilege to serve in this historic administration and work for the greatest president of my lifetime. While my time serving the administration comes to a conclusion, it doesn't mean I will stop fighting for American workers. I'm looking forward to what the future has in store as I depart for the private sector. I wonder what she would point to as fighting for American workers, because I don't know about you, but I saw a video the other day where there was a clerk at a 7-Eleven who was in the country on an H-1B visa. Doesn't exactly feel like fighting for American workers to me. Maybe it feels like fighting for American workers to you. Maybe that's just the new American. It's the newcomers. But she is out officially of the Trump administration, and there's a lot of scandals around her. And we'll see. Well, this is coming after an investigation into her misconduct allegations. This is how Fox News put it.
Chavez DeRemer resigning. What do we know about that?
Yeah, Brett, not too much yet. The president did not announce her departure, unlike when Pam Bondi left as AG or Kristi Noem departed DHS. And also, Chavez DeRemer is headed to the private sector, not another administration job, according to Stephen Chung, the communications director here at the White House, who made the announcement. This all comes as the Labor Department Inspector General is nearing the end of a months-long investigation into misconduct allegations. Deputy Secretary Keith Sonderling is set to take on the role of acting secretary.
Again, the misconduct, inappropriate relationships, misuse of taxpayer funds, and so forth. We'll be paying attention as that report becomes available. Got another survey here in the lightning round. You ever see the viral video? The viral video of the dude who's freaking out over the double rainbow. He can't believe it. He's like, oh my gosh, it's a double rainbow. Well, this is the political equivalent. We are going to see a rare double expulsion. Yeah, I know. The House is barreling towards a rare double expulsion vote, Axios reports. One Republican, one Democrat. Representative Sheila Scherflis McCormick and Representative Corey Mills, both out of Florida. They're in line this week for some expulsion votes. Here's why it matters. Scherflis McCormick, the Democrat, was charged and found guilty, she was just found guilty by the Ethics Committee on a litany of charges, most notably for funneling $5 million in COVID relief funds to her congressional campaign. She's denied any wrongdoing in this, but she also alleged that she bought a nice diamond ring, okay? And as these allegations started coming out, all of these new promotional photos where, mailers and stuff like that were being produced, they photoshopped the ring out of the photos. They knew that they did wrong, even though she's claiming no wrongdoing. Corey Mills, he's faced allegations including financial misconduct, campaign finance violations, and sexual misconduct, all of which he denies. This comes after we saw Representative Tony Gonzalez, a Republican out of Texas, and Eric Swalwell, the slimeball out of California, resign last week ahead of their imminent expulsion votes over alleged sexual misconduct. Both denied the allegations. But members of Congress dropping like flies. And this week, we could see the expulsion of two more. Mike Johnson has signaled support for Greg Steube's plan to introduce a resolution to expel Scherflis McCormick as soon as today, after the House Ethics Committee makes its disciplinary recommendations. Mike Johnson declined to answer last week when pressed on whether Mills, still under investigation by the Ethics Committee, should go too. Nancy Mace, Monday evening, is introducing a resolution to expel Mills at the same time as Sheriff McCormick. It could be months until the Ethics Committee releases the findings on Mills. Hakeem Jeffries is declining to stake out a position before Sheriff McCormick's sanctions hearing, telling reporters his caucus will meet afterward to discuss the matter. House Democrats will proceed in a manner consistent with our approach to these types of ethics matters, which is to always follow the facts and apply the relevant law without fear or favor, said Hakeem Jeffries. I thought they just always tried to look the other way until it was politically beneficial to them. Maybe it's just me. Got another story here in the lightning round. This one's a local one. Nashville is going to be launching rideshare pickup and drop-off zones downtown next month in May, aimed at easing traffic around Broadway. Have you ever tried to pick up an Uber on Broadway? Chaotic. Absolute chaos. Especially if it's after 10 o'clock at night. The people I feel the worst for are the Uber drivers, as drunk individuals randomly stumble up to the cars and say, "Are you my Uber?" Chances are it's not your Uber. You're just hammered drunk. But they're going to have 24 designated rideshare pickup and drop-off zones aimed at easing that traffic around Broadway. Officials say the goal is to improve safety and reduce congestion in the entertainment district. It's actually a smart idea. Not something that you hear very often out of Metro Nashville. But it's actually a pretty good idea. They say that this was actually one of our main demands to have new rideshare pickup zones downtown. Joseph Hill, a rideshare driver with Tennessee's Drivers Union. Broadway's steady stream of visitors has long been a challenge for rideshare drivers navigating crowded streets filled with pickup and drop-offs happening anywhere possible. I've often said, we've had friends come in before, and my wife and I were like, we're not going downtown. But my friends will, they'll be like, "Oh, we got to do Broadway." You know how it is. You've had friends come into town like, "Oh, we got to check it out." And my advice to them is always, if you're picking up an Uber late, like walk 3 or 4 blocks away from Broadway before you even order the Uber. Or good luck. Good luck. Best of luck to you, my friend. This is going to alleviate a lot of that. According to Joseph Hill, a rideshare driver with Tennessee's Drivers Union, one of the main issues drivers encountered was getting ticketed by MNPD or NDOT while trying to pick up passengers. He said drivers staged 2 strikes in 2024 over the issue, calling for changes from city leaders. Well, changes are here, my friends. Rideshare drivers, rejoice. That does it for today's edition of the Lightning Round. It's 11:51. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friend Aaron Parker over at Parker Safes and Vaults. You hear me talking about these guys a lot. They're the best. They're our veteran-owned, family-run safe and vault door business right here in Middle Tennessee. And let's be honest, a lot of us want a safe, but we don't really know where to begin. We've been putting it off because we've got to figure out which one to buy, where to put it, how to get it installed. Well, this is exactly what Parker Safes and Vaults will help you with. You could start by jumping over on their YouTube page. You search for Parker Safes on YouTube. You'll find a detailed video review of every single safe that they have in stock. You'll probably know, just by visiting the YouTube page, which safe is right for you. If you don't, you still have questions, Aaron is a wealth of information. Him and his sons take care of everything. They'll help you choose the best safe for your needs and your budget. They'll offer advice on the best place to put it. And they'll deliver it and carefully install it themselves discreetly and professionally. Aaron just told me they have a ton of great deals happening right now, plenty of safes in stock and ready to go. These aren't the average big box store cabinets that can be tipped over or pried open by a teenager. These are quality safes from brands like American Security, Rhino, Liberty, Heyman, and more. Don't put it off any longer. Call my friend Aaron today, 931-842-6445, 931-842-6445. It's Parker Safes and Vaults, and if you mention my name when you're buying your safe, you get a free pistol safe while supplies last. That's Parker Safes and Vaults. Online, parkersafes.com. 11:56, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. Ken Weaver in the newsroom, Mason Fleming, and our friend Ryan producing, Chad Benson in studio.
What's up, brother?
What's up? We were just talking about the Portland dog situation off the air. Heartbreaking.
Absolutely. Just horrible. I mean, you didn't want it in the house, so it says everything I need to know, unless you're living in an area where you believe bears are going to come and attack you every night, or you may be attacked by other human beings. Keep that away.
I had a lot of people texting in, quite a few, like maybe 10 to 15 texters being like, well, you put your kid in a car every day.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is completely different.
That is, yeah.
I'm like, a car is a necessity. And then I had people argue with me, no, it's not. Like, okay. A car is more of a necessity than
correct
a dog.
Correct. Absolutely. 100%. And there are great dogs out there. There are bad dogs. The difference, it's like a shark, right? Little lemon shark bites you. It's like, ow, that hurts. Great white shark bites you. Totally different story. That size. I have little dogs. They can be yappy and nippy. But you know what? What I don't worry about, whether or not they're going to take your arms off or kill your kid.
Yeah.
Or you, by the way.
Yeah. And I mean, I have a Chocolate Lab. I have a King Charles Cavalier. Great dogs. But like, kids do things that you don't expect.
Yeah.
They're going to pull a tail. They're going to pull an ear. They're going to, look at the teeth and all that. I don't know. I wouldn't risk it.
No, it's not like I got rid of all of my big stuff and my venom and stuff once I had Jack. That's it. I can't have any of this stuff around.
So you had because you were like dabbling in the reptiles.
I had everything you could think of, just about.
But it's not worth it.
No, it's not worth it.
The calculation has to change when you have young kids in the house.
100%. Now, if I was to have a baby, if I was going to have a big dog, I'd get a puppy. They come home at the same time. It stays with him all the time. It learns to love him, learns to let him do anything he wants. It protects him. That's a different story. I'm not bringing something that's already aggressive where I know it's aggressive and I'm leaving it outside because I'm worried about it.
I had people that say they have dogs in the house that are pit bulls on the text line, and they're like, well, we just tell our kids, you got to be careful and this and that. I'm like, why would you risk that?
Yeah.
One bite away from a life-changing injury.
It is, totally.
And
yeah. And you got to teach your kids, like anything, respect for a big dog, because you can be out somewhere and you just grab another dog. You got to teach them respect. But at the same time, if you ever worry about that, some dogs are bulletproof, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do to them. Some dogs will protect you to the day. I mean, if a bear comes in, it'll go to other dogs. If you have to go, I'm not sure about that, that's the time to get rid of that dog.
Amen. And people get mad about this.
Oh, yeah. Dude, of all of the stuff, there's very few things that I have had so much pushback, but dogs has always been one of them. Whenever there's attack, people come out and just go after you. But it's, you got to look, you got to weigh the risk reward.
Exactly. And it's not worth that risk.
It's not worth that, especially if you're worried about it.
And every couple of weeks, you see another horrifying story. Like this one affects us. It's local. It's gonna hit us a little different. But there was a story in Detroit a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Where there was a 6-year-old kid. I was like, I had it for the show, and I was like, I don't even want to do it because like I hate these stories where young kids are being attacked. This poor kid got his arms ripped off by 2 pit bulls in the backyard. Family dogs. What are we doing?
And it's also the owner. Who are you? Why do you have that dog? Why that specific dog?
Exactly. Well, Chad's in next on that upper.
We're going to talk about fun stuff today. Woo!
What are you focusing on?
You know what? We're going to talk Paul Revere.
Based Paul.
We're going to talk a little bit about Paul. Yesterday, of course, Patriots Day out there. Everybody doing the marathon. And we're going to talk a little bit about Paul Revere and his story and how 2 other guys were completely left out of it.
Well, they didn't get the shine.
No, they didn't get the shine. There was a reason for that, even though one of them was the actual one who went the farthest road and didn't get caught.
Well,
Trump would be like, I don't like you. You got caught.
Chad's in next. It's 12:01 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.